Yeah, got a little beat going there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can you hear me all right, brother?
Yeah, I hear you good.
Okay, we're going to bring this music down. Welcome, folks, to the Tipping Point Morning Show. All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, now it is yours truly, Mr. Just As Joe, and my brother from another mother, brother John Yah, Esoteric Concepts himself, family. Looking good, creating that new supply, storage, whatever manufacturing area you got going on back there. What's going on with you?
Nothing much, man. How you doing this morning?
Good, good, good. Is that a DeWalt drill back there?
Yes, it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're getting it in. I see.
Yes, sir. Getting it in.
All right. That's what's up, folks. Again, we're going to go ahead and start the show. We got a great show for you going on today. We're talking about the flat earth. Is it really flat, or is it Georgia peach bottoms? Tell us, folks. Is it round or is it flat? Which is it? We're going to talk about that today right here on the Tipping Point Morning Show. So let's go ahead and get it in.
You are listening to The Tipping Point Show with your host, Mr. Just Ask Joe, John Yah. Right here on WLOU. Stream it live on Facebook and WLOUonline.com. And now, The Tipping Point Show.
All right. Grand Rising, brother Leonard Walker sitting backstage. We appreciate you, brother Crypto Kenny, sitting backstage. Real quick, man, before we bring Crypto Kenny on, what's been going on in your world, man? I know that ultimately you've been just working, grinding, working, man. That is like your thing, man. Anything new popping up for you?
Well, just finishing up the front office area. We're working on that now, so I'm not in my office, but doing the room where we will be producing the car spray. So this is another production room that we're doing here that's outside of the incense room. So this is the room where I had to do the floor over because I needed to pull up the previous floor in case we have spills or anything, we can wipe it up easy. So it's coming along real good. I'm appreciating the progress of it. And whenever you have a goal and you are striving for your goal each day, you feel better and better when you get closer to your goal. So just finished putting up the racks. Now I'll be putting up the shelves probably in the next couple of days.
You got racks on racks back there.
Yeah, four shelves is what's needed on each side of the wall. So I'm just utilizing all the wall space. I'm even having some more put on this side here. And then around me here is my laboratory that I'm actually facing where my lab is.
And that's when you call it the laboratory, you talking, hand to product put together.
Well, no, this is where I do my testing. This is where I do the mixing so that I can see what fragrance I want to produce and is it mixed just right, particularly in the car sprays. The car sprays have a couple of components that I put with it, and you want to kind of blend it just right. You don't want it overpowering. You don't want it not too strong, but you want it just balanced just right. And plus, it's not a water base, so it's a colorful mixture of two different chemicals.
Oh, wow. Awesome, man. Your customer, boy. You're going to have them burning the incense on the inside to get rid of that smell. And then they're going to be on the outside in their car getting rid of that smell just same, boy. Right. So your clientele. Well, first up, folks, again, it is it is 9/17/2022. Guess what that means, y'all? That means that this is the only 9/17/2022 you ever gonna get in your life. So guess what? You better make today a fantastic day. And for the start of your fantastic day, we're gonna bring on another fantastic brother right here to the show. His name is Crypto Kenny from Bitcoin Campus. Folks, I tell you what, this dude right here, he is someone not to rival with. Brother, how you doing? Family, what's going on with you?
Yes. Good morning, fellas. Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Brother John.
Peace.
Appreciate you guys. Good seeing your smiles in the morning. Glad that we all woke up and we're able to conquer another day. So yeah, as far as the wrap up today, I wanted to just share with people some things that they may not be privy to that's happening in society, right? And this is a big deal. For those of you that are following cryptocurrency, there's been a coin out there called XRP that, a lot of people like, a lot of people follow. It was connected to the movement with Ripple, kind of like MoneyGram type of thing. Well, XRP has pretty much a functionality that's connected to being able to work with all the financial institutions in the world. That's why it was so popular when it first came out, because the technology that they were building allowed cryptocurrencies to be transferred back and forth through banks and financial institutions. Well, they got a lot of hate for that, because a lot of people, especially when crypto first came out, they're looking at it as a decentralized tool to get away from the banks, to get away from government, oppression, right? And XRP has been in the background for over these years, building this technology. And then it actually came to a point where they got into a lawsuit from the SEC. So, you're looking at the lawsuit, you're looking at the movement that people had trusting this cryptocurrency. It seems as if they won that lawsuit. So that's a big deal to go against a huge entity like that and win it. And then you're looking at the possibility of working with all of these financial institutions around the world. Why is this important? Because whether you have a philosophy that crypto is for the people and not for the government or not, there's going to be money to be made, and there's going to be a system that's going to be applied. If you guys are paying attention to the news, the governments are very focused on developing a digital currency. They've already created USDC, a dollar coin, right? So there are people out there that don't believe in crypto. They say it's just a fad. They say it's a trend. They say it's a scam. They say it's all kinds of stuff. But when you're looking at crypto and the development of the technology, why would there be over $1 trillion in circulation majority of the time when dealing with the actual industry? Why would there be millions and millions upon billions of dollars invested in new technology to support technology that's already been done in crypto? If you guys look at the news of crypto, you're going to see even today, anytime you research crypto, look at the investments that are being put together behind the scenes. You're going to read articles that says, oh, this company just raised $270 million for this specific crypto project. This company just raised $500 million for this specific cryptocurrency project. This company is working with this, major, financial institute to support this particular crypto project. How can anybody see years and years of that type of movement and still feel that crypto is not here to stay? That doesn't make any sense at all. If something is a scam or not supposed to be around, you're not going to get entities all across the world taking millions of dollars to raise or to invest into that technology. It just doesn't make sense. Anything that's not here to stay gets cut off. You're not going to keep, I'll give you guys an example. Once we started having PlayStation and Xbox and things like that, there's probably some money being spent on Atari or, Dream. I couldn't even think of Dreamcast, these other devices that were out there. You have people, there's nobody going out there trying to spend hundreds of $millions in Sega Dreamcast. It doesn't make any sense. The technology is done and gone with. People are building on, Xbox, PlayStation, the Nintendo Wii, all of these things. Why? Because that's important for society right now. So I'm just kind of saying all of this stuff to kind of open people's minds to realize something. Just because you don't believe in crypto doesn't mean that it's not the wealth transfer that's happening in front of everybody's faces. Once you do the research, once you understand, I would encourage everybody to look into XRP to understand what that cryptocurrency is going to do with society and with being able to bridge the gap of the government regulations as well as controlling people and having them support that specific project, because digital currency is here. It's going to be used. It is being used. Maybe, if you're looking at cryptocurrency, don't look at cryptocurrency. Look at Zelle, look at PayPal, look at Cash App, look at, Tap and Go. These are digital transactions. So you may not think that specifically Bitcoin or, Cardano, XRP, Ethereum is going to be Cash App. But, and here's something that I wanted to note. I was speaking with a friend, and I'll say this before I end the segment. I was speaking to a close friend of mine, and she was telling me, she was like, you know what? Sometimes I feel like I'm not that smart because I'm trying my best to understand cryptocurrency, but I just can't get it for some reason. I just can't get it. I just don't understand it, and it's making me feel away. I said to her, I was like, do you understand Zelle? Do you understand PayPal? Do you understand Apple Pay? Do you understand Cash App? Do you understand Venmo? Do you understand Tap and Go? Do you understand Google Pay? Do you understand that? Most people don't understand that, but there wasn't an opportunity to generate wealth on those adoptions. So there's no reason for us to really dive into the understanding of it. We're already using it. So once we start already using something in society, our brain becomes numb to the concept of how it even works. We all use technology. We all use electricity. Can anybody explain how electricity works? If you want to spend a lot of time studying electricity, you're just wasting time. You just use the technology and go forward with it. So, I'm not really going to preach on that specific aspect, but I want to make sure that people are evaluating this thing properly. Yeah, you want to learn crypto. You want to learn how to send, receive. You want to understand utility, staking, dollar cost averaging, investing, NFTs. You want to understand, what it is, what it provides, and what it's going to do for the economy. But you don't need to be Albert Einstein and dissect it to its core. It's not necessary. It's like me asking, you guys, how does, what's the difference between this type of fuel and another type of fuel for your car? You guys don't really care about that. If you wanted to find out the information, you could dive deeper into it. But as long as the car starts and you're able to go from point A to point B, that's all you care about. So the same thing is happening with crypto. Don't get caught up in understanding the technology as a whole. All you have to do for yourself to be able to invest in it and to grow from it is to understand that it's not going anywhere. And the adoption is going to be here. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, we didn't have cell phones. I mean, we didn't even have laptops in homes. And at that time, it was very difficult for people to fathom having a computer in every home because computers were $1,200. So it's like, $1,200 for a computer. This is going to be in everybody's home? No way. You got, this amount of money for a cell phone, and you're trying to say everybody's going to buy this thing? There's no way.
So crypto, you're telling us basically focus on the investment aspect of it. Focus more on that than anything else. I know personally, it wasn't until I joined Bitcoin Campus that I learned more about the utility of a coin, a token. And once I learned the utility of it, once I understood what that meant, once I understood that this was a product or a company, basically, and this company has the ability to do this over here, and they provide this as a service, well, now it made it a lot more simple for me to say, you know what, this is like stocks. I'm just going to go and I'm going to focus on investing in companies that are doing things that I like what they're doing. If this company is helping to fight against false indoctrination of the C virus, by bringing more information forth about it. Okay, I like that. I'm going to go and invest in that company. I'm going to buy that company's stock or coin or token. So, I think
crypto itself is just the technology of transferring funds, right? So let's take away that technology and turn it into sneakers. If everybody wore Nikes, right, you would say, yo, Nike's a sneaker. Like, what's the point of anybody having Adidas? What's the point of anybody having Reebok? What's the point of anybody having Under Armour? Well, the foundation is footwear. But even though that's the foundation, there's so many intricate aspects to comfort and to design. And then you have sports, and you have the different types of people, and you have the different types of occasions. You can't wear sneakers in the snow. You know what I mean? It's going to damage the sneaker. It's going to, you could get ammonia from your feet getting cold, whatever the case. So you got to make different types of, structures on sneakers, and maybe a harder surface. So it's not necessarily just a sneaker. Maybe it's a boot now. It's still footwear. But there's a lot of technology and research to different aspects of the human body, to different locations, to different types of personalities, where your footwear will be changed up. And some people will be like, yo, I like New Balances way more than I like Nike. Whoa. They're both sneakers, though. What's the difference? The difference is New Balance has a wider base for people with wider feet. Now, I'm saying this because that's the same exact thing that's happening with crypto. The industry is just a transfer of funds, but there's so many different aspects to that transfer system: the speed at which it gets there, the price at which they're charging you, the focus of what the transfer is for. So somebody may, if the airline system makes I'll give you guys one last example, because I know this conversation is kind of turning longer than what it needs to be. If I'm getting rewards, like there are rewards programs for 7-Eleven, right? You guys have seen the 7-Eleven rewards program that they have. If you've gone into a 7-Eleven, the more you purchase, they give you, 7-Eleven points that you could eventually get free stuff, right? All right, so you have that. You have the same thing in Walgreens and Rite Aid, and maybe Walmart. But if you spend money in Walmart, they're not going to give you points for 7-Eleven.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? If you spend money in Rite Aid, they're not going to add the points that you accumulate in Rite Aid to your Walmart account. So every system, computerized system for exchanging funds, is designed to support that specific entity. And in order for it to support multiple entities, it would need more computerized programming to make that transaction smoother. I hope that kind of clarifies things a little bit. There's not one system where you say, okay, just add this and you get points for all of these retail stores. No, 7-Eleven's programming is for 7-Eleven. Rite Aid's program is for Rite Aid.
I see. We're going, we're going to have another conversation about crypto. I think it's time to do another conversation about crypto. And just remember, folks, you need that big feet crypto. All right, that New Balance crypto. All right, if you're going to get that New Balance big feet crypto, go ahead and hit up the Bitcoin campus. And just the same, make sure you got the right shoes on so you don't catch ammonia. Okay. All right. We'll catch you next time, brother Crypto Kenny. Peace.
Yes, fella.
All right. Next up to the stage, folks, we got the stock spotlight with brother Leonard Walker. Come on up there, brother. How you doing? Looking good out there celebrating this weekend.
Yes, sir. Celebrating my 21st wedding anniversary. Me and my wife are. We are, as you can see in the background, you got some ports back here, back in the Tidewater area of Virginia, up here in Portsmouth, Virginia. Tonight we're gonna go see Miss Layla Hathaway and Mr. Robert Glasper in concert. Okay. So yeah, we got some good stuff going on today. For our crypto spotlight, I'm gonna talk about one stock today, just one.
Okay, we're gonna do a stock spotlight. I got you.
Yeah. A stock. I'm sorry.
It's all good, man. We all riled up over that crypto stuff, man. It's all good.
Yeah. So my stock spotlight for today is just one stock. It's called Zim Integrated Shipping Services, ZIM. That is Zulu India Mike. Trade on the New York Stock Exchange. Yesterday it closed at $29.53. But it pays, now check this out. It pays an annual dividend of $19 per share. $19 per share, okay? Quarterly dividend of $4.75 per share. All right, that is a dividend yield of, now check this out, 64.34%. I have not did a stock with a high dividend yield, a higher dividend yield than that. That is kind of way up there. 52-week low, or 52-week high was $68.26. 52-week low was $27.87. It's also undervalued. Its book value per share is $43.67. So you're buying this at a discount. Okay. Now, why am I talking about this stock? Right. This right here sounds too good to be true. Okay. A stock that's paying $19 a year that only costs $29 or $30 per share. Okay. That's offering a 65% dividend yield. So let me jump into the company itself. All right, this is an Israeli container company that does ocean containers.
Okay.
Remember before we talked about the companies that did what you call dry bulk. All right, which is the ore and the iron and the grain and all that. Well, these are the people that you see out in the ocean. All right, that's got 1 million containers out in the ocean. That's got containers on the ship. So this is that type of company. They offer door-to-door or port-to-port service for international service. They are a multimodal freight forwarder, meaning they can do stuff by truck, by ground, by air, by train, all of that. All right. Company's been around since 1945. But they just had an IPO last year in September of 2001. Okay, been around since 1945. All right, so quickly, what are the pros and cons of this stock? Well, the pros, we're gonna start out. The pros of this stock is it has a super large dividend. Okay, so that's obviously right off the bat, that's the first thing you notice. Another pro about the stock is right now, October, we're getting ready to go into the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter is, if many people realize who've been in transportation or just in the retail, this is when you have the biggest transportation retail boom of the year. Okay, so that means there's going to be lots of money being generated during this time of year. Okay. Another pro is the CEO of the company. His name is Eliyahu Glickman. Okay, Eliyahu Glickman. He gets 75% of his salary in stocks, dividend stocks. So what does that mean? That means that he is motivated to do the things that are necessary to keep those dividends high, right? So you can take advantage as an investor. We can take advantage of these high yield dividends, all right, and high performing dividends because of this guy, all right, because of what he's motivated to do as a CEO. This is a $5 billion company, okay, with I think $2 billion in cash flow, so relatively low debt, all of this kind of stuff, right? So I mean, the company's been around since 1945, since after World War II. So this is which stock is this? This is ZIM, Zulu India Mike, Zim Integrated Shipping Services. That's what that is.
I just placed the order for to go ahead and execute Monday. It's sitting, it's waiting.
There you go. All righty. So also this is an undervalued stock. Again, you're buying it at a discount. Okay. All right. So what are the cons of this particular type of stock? Right now, it's not been a year since the stock has been, well, it's just now coming up on 1 year. So it's still kind of new. still kind of new as far as what, how to evaluate the stock, okay, to see how well it's going to do as far as dividends go. All right, with a high, another thing is with a high dividend like that, it's just unsustainable. There's no way that this stock could stay that high, right? With a 64%, depending on which application you're looking at. I was looking at my Webull account. They were showing like 90% because of they had some old information on there. It's on the New York Stock Exchange. That's what it's on the New York Stock Exchange. Okay. Another con about this stock is they have complicated tax. Got kind of a complicated taxation when it comes to if you cash this out. I know Israel right off the bat charges like 25% in taxes. Okay. Now I know the U.S. and Israel also have a tax treaty. Okay. Yeah, 64%. Exactly. Yeah, 64% dividend. So yeah, like I said, is the U.S. and Israel have a tax treaty where there's supposedly not double taxation. You got to do more research on that, okay, to see what how that works as far as investing goes and investors. If you're not an expat, I know it's a treaty in place so that you don't avoid taxation is what it boils down to. Okay. Another con is you have some falling stock prices there. I mean, it was up to 68. Now it's down to 29, which is the low was 27. So it's kind of cooling off a little bit. And after, like I said, this month is always historically, like I said, September is always historically a bad month or a slow month for stocks. But going into October to December, that's, like I said, Q4. That's when you should see some stuff shoot up. But then again, coming after that in January, February, it slows down again, and then you'll see a spike in March. This is what we just had. Just so you guys know, I got 20 years of experience in the shipping and logistics industry. So I kind of know the cycles. Last March, while I was still working, I can tell you international freight it just was off the chain. Okay. Correct. And March was like super ridiculous. A lot of that has to do with airlines, the price of airlines. Things that normally would cost tens of thousands of dollars were starting to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And companies were looking at alternative ways to move their freight. See, so like I said, you can take advantage of that. The price and the demand of things will go up. All right. So what is a strategy for buying the stock? All right. What many people suggest, and what maybe you can look at as well, is a short-term strategy. This stock just paid a dividend out here in September, so the next time it's due to pay a dividend is in 90 days in December. So short-term strategy is maybe you buy this stock and hold it for maybe 2-3 cycles, 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year. All right. Just to, put as much as you can into it just so you can get that high dividend yield, and then take that money and reinvest it into some of your other stuff, so you can get that quick cash, right, to build up your capital, right? A long term, I would still watch the stock because, like I said, even though it's new to the market, this is not a new company. All right. So it's going to have a cooling period, adjustment period. And it may settle into the stocks that, or the prices that it could jump into. All right. See, so that's what I would do. That would be my strategy is maybe, like I said, is buy some for, 2 cycles. All right. Two quarters, and then maybe sell it, or maybe even buy it for a year and sell it just to see what it does. And then pay close attention to the industry. Definitely pay attention to, we got wars going on. We got, still viruses and things out there. All of this stuff affects transportation and goods and services. So definitely pay attention to that. And that's my stock spotlight, man, right here.
I got a couple of questions for you before you leave. It's very interesting, these 2 points. And I definitely am all on shipping freight companies because I deal with that through my custom broker, how they arrange my shipping to come in. So it's very interesting. I'm definitely and I'm a buyer and going to look at that stock. Okay.
Right.
Let me ask you a question, and this is something. This is more philosophical. Just a question, just for see if how you answer it. You know, you've been in the stocks. You really are dropping some great information. I've researched behind you and checked out some stuff, and I followed you in Golden Ocean, which was a great stock in that trading. And it's very interesting because I never thought about the ocean phrase, and I've been dealing with my custom broker that's been arranging my shipment for some time. So when that came up, I said, oh shit, that sounds interesting. So I got into that, and it's been very good to me so far. Now, what you're talking about, when you're talking about stocks and when you're talking about dividends, as we know, we talked about how every time your stock goes up, your dividend goes up, or the percentage of your dividend of the stock will go up. And so it continues to do that, right? It's very interesting. Now, you done dropped some very interesting information. Why, when it comes to crypto, and crypto is an investment tool, but crypto is not a product, company, or service. Number one, it's not a product, it's not a company or a service. What you're talking about is a product, a company, and or a service. Now, with that said, let me ask you a question. When you're dropping this information, and this information is pretty interesting and important, particularly a stock that is giving so much of a high dividend. That's high. I've never seen a dividend that high, number one.
Right.
But I want to ask you, why is it not a push on the same level of people pushing and having crypto classes, crypto rooms, and why ain't there a room for stock room? You never hear about this when Apple was out. When it was a good time to invest in Apple when it was about $100. It would have been a good time to invest in Facebook when it was about $2 or $3, right? Why don't we hear this push to push people where we got rooms and join this class to learn more about stocks? Why don't we hear that in the regular stock? What's the quietness about over here when it comes to this money, but the big noise is over here when it comes to this money? Give me that. Can you explain that to me before I go to my second question?
Right. The thing is with stocks is, number one, okay, most people that are in the stocks are like myself, not truly stock professionals, okay, that you know, look at things and share opportunities and do their own research and a bunch of different stuff. So nobody wants to be wrong, is what it is. The stock market is extremely emotional, okay? So, you know, you get
well, let me tell you, crypto is too. And some of the people that I know got money in crypto. It's a very emotional shit.
Heather hit the nail on the head when she said people don't want to wait. And stocks are a waiting game.
Well, not necessarily. Crypto's a waiting game. And so it can jump and it can go.
It is, but think about it. More about crypto have been about making money fast.
Correct.
And so I think that's it. I think that especially when you're talking about a people who emotionally focus on the now instead of the later, right? That's our whole culture. Is now. We go out and we buy all the stuff to look like we're rich now. As opposed to
and that's the trap.
The wealth
that becomes the trap because we have what is called a microwave mind. We don't want to cook. We want it now, and so throw it in the microwave. So we have a microwave mind. With having a microwave mind, the one that with the microwave mind is easier to fall into a trap than the one that's patient and waiting. There's a difference. So what I'm asking is, when I'm asking the question about the hype, dividends is a great tool to use. What I'm saying is that when you're talking about this information, I see both of them as kind of equal as the growth is concerned. When I look at crypto, there's no movement. There's no real jumping movement. Yeah, you may have Bitcoin, and that's the only thing you can point to, or you can point to another one. But what I'm saying is that in most of the cases, it's very, very slow. While at the same time, with dividends, you're constantly winning. No matter what in dividends, if you invest in a dividend company, whether the company's down or not, you still making money. And that's the piece. And that's why I was asking for the balance. Anyway, that's why I was asking for that. My next question to you, is the earth flat or round?
All right. So I don't want to kill this conversation, but I'm getting ready to put a good point out there.
Okay.
If the earth was flat, now, like I said, I've been in transportation.
I just want you to answer yes or no. We're going to get into the conversation later.
Your belief.
The earth is a sphere. This is not even a belief. The earth is a sphere. Okay, it is a sphere, and that is just knowledge. I don't have to believe anything. It's knowledge. I done been around the world.
There you go.
So it is a sphere. All right, and everything in the universe points to the earth being a sphere.
Okay? All right.
You heard it right there, folks. The stock spotlight, along with the flat Earth thought process of Brother Leonard Walker.
I forgot to ask Kenny that. I meant to ask Kenny that.
Yeah, but you know, good stuff there, and this stock right here. I knew John was gonna jump on it as soon as you said something about containers, because that's his world. So you know, you heard him when you said it. He said he damn near rubbed his belly. He said, So I knew he was gonna jump all over that. And look, Leonard and I were talking earlier in the week, and he was trying to tell me. I was like, no, Leonard, I want to wait. I want to wait till Saturday. And so he did give me the ticker symbol, and I went ahead and looked it up. But I said, look, I want the full, because he was excited. He was like, hey, bro, hey, I got a dope one for you. He was sitting here. He was like, hey, man, I got a dope one for you, man. I want to tell you, bro. I was like, nah, just wait, man. Just wait. So appreciate you, brother.
All right.
Until next week.
There we go.
All right, peace. Hey, man, good stuff. Next up, we have Lady Brazilian there with our last segment before we get into the main event. Financing in 5 minutes. Sis, what's going on with you?
Good morning. So this is going to be awesome. I'm actually excited myself. Okay, so I'm going to ask the both of you a question, and my question is going to lead into my financing tip. Who owns Chase Bank?
I like to say my granddaughter named Chase, but I can't. So anyway, that's a good one.
Okay.
JP Morgan was my answer, but
okay.
You know.
I'll take that. So let me ask you this: who owns JP Morgan?
Now, I know that there's a story about JP Morgan Chase where the two families literally raised the kids up to marry later in life to continue the legacy of this bank. But I'm getting some stuff from the crowd saying Italians.
Okay. So with those two questions lead into my financial tip. We all own businesses, right?
Right.
Put your business in a trust. So again, who owns Chase? JP Morgan. Who owns JP Morgan? Nobody knows, because that person or thing is a trust. So this is something else that we as a culture do not talk about. Why? Because it's time consuming, right? Okay, Brother John, remember, it's time consuming. Nobody wants to learn and understand about. So Heather, what's the point of a trust?
Frequency.
You hear people getting sued all the time, right? But it's a process. This is why it takes longer for those lawsuits to go through, because you have to go through a chain of command before you can actually see anything. So I will be honest with you. I do not own Exquisite Links Beauty and Brow Bar. Who owns Exquisite Links Beauty and Brow Bar? My trust. So if you try to sue me, you have to go through my company. If you try to sue my company, you have to go through my trust. This is going to take forever. This is why we have insurance, and this is why we have attorneys on payroll. Put your business in a trust, and your trust will pay you. Okay, thank you. Your trust will pay you. So not only will you see profits from your business, but you will also see profits from your trust. And guess who else can go in your trust? Your children. Guess what else can go in your trust? Gold. And for those of you that love cars, because we know men are all about their toys, put your car in a trust. This is something that we, again, as a whole, as an ethnic background, do not talk about, but those in other ethnic backgrounds do. This is why you hear people writing $50,000 checks for this and $20,000 for that, because everything is in a what? It's in a trust. So that
it's so awesome that you brought that to the table. You know, John knows, he and I've been having this conversation because I was talking to him earlier this week about a trust, and you know, talking to some other people in the circle, because I want to do just the same thing, set things up in a trust, and create a family bank. The ability to accumulate whole life insurance policies on family, and then be able to borrow against it and invest that money. So absolutely appreciate the conversation. And obviously we're going to do some more conversation about it. Leah Moon says, how do the kids go in the trust? Like, in what aspect? Meaning their names are on that trust?
Yes. And Leah, that's an actually good question. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, so my recommendation to you and everyone else who's listening and watching, please reach out to your credit union. I love credit unions. I'm not a part of a bank. I'm at a credit union. Speak to the credit union if you have one, or also too, if you have been, dealing with Fidelity or Merrill Lynch or Charles Schwab, things of that nature. Reach out to them too about opening a trust.
Yeah, correct. It's like my insurance policy. My insurance policy for my grandbaby is in a trust, to where if I pass, which I plan to live forever, if I pass, the money is set up to where it release, like if she's not up to age, then it will release so much money per month for the caretaker who taking care of the child, and the rest is for her when she gets to a certain age, while still building interest.
Yes, and also too, you can also put your will in a trust.
Correct.
And of course, too, our ethnic background, our family, they don't, I don't have anything. You might not have what you think you have, but
Correct.
you do have some stuff. So yes, put your will in a trust too.
Absolutely. And that was a conversation that I was having with Leonard as well, because we were talking about an area in the US where people were losing their property. And when your land is in a trust, then it protects you against eminent domain. So that's interesting stuff. And here's Mr. Trust himself, whom has yet to return my text messages about a trust. Get a brokerage versus a credit union, and do not allow the bank to create the trust. All right. And one thing that Heather did notate earlier when she talked about it is she said you need to have, this is why we have lawyers and accountants and things on retainer, because these people specialize in this stuff. As soon as you said that, it reminded me. So I just messaged a lawyer as we were talking to ask him, can he help me set up my trust? Because El Patah does not want to help me for some reason.
Remember,
I don't know why.
As a business owner, the object of the game is to what? Have everything, own nothing.
There you go. And absolutely. So we appreciate you, sis. Thank you for bringing that, enlightening us with that amazing information, and always definitely you're vibing on the same frequency as we were just in this conversation earlier this week. So that's why we all rock together. So we appreciate you.
One question before you go: is the earth flat or round?
I'm going to say round all day long. I'm going to say round all day long.
Absolutely. Atlanta Peach Bottoms. That's what's up. We'll talk to you later next week.
Hey, for those who are listening, if you believe in round, put round in the chat. And if you believe in flat, put flat in the chat so we can know where your mindset is. And don't be afraid. This is just for fun. This is not to beat anybody up if you do believe it's flat or if you believe it's round. So just kind of stick in there whether you think it's flat or whether you think it's round.
Absolutely. And there's another suggestion, LegalZoom.com. There you go. We got people saying round. And of course, I was waiting for someone to come along and say oblong. I'm waiting for the person that jumps in and says square. Absolutely. But this is, and I love what Heather said at the end there, and even in addition to that, Leonard Walker added on, and he says, control everything and own nothing. There you go. Absolutely. So with that in mind, folks, we have a brother coming to the stage here in a minute, brother Pierre Lawson. Last name has the word law in it. So, we're gonna see about that, what that's all about. First, we're gonna go to commercial real quick, and we'll be right back. It is the Tipping Point Morning Show, folks.
Hey folks, check out healthdaddywow.net. 100% plant-based herbs and supplements. Whether you're in person or online, use the word tipping for 10% off. Remember, feel better, look great, healthdaddywow.net. Remember, healthdaddywow.net.
Habibi Trading Company, home of soap, sticks, and Saya Baba products. Over 400 locations at a store near you. Cincinnati, Ohio, Louisville and Lexington, Kentucky, Southern Indiana, or find yours online at sayababa.com. Again, that's sayababa.com. Habibi Trading Company, where you can find fragrances to incite your senses.
You are listening to The Tipping Point Show with your host, Mr. Just Ask Joe, John Yeah. Right here on WLOU. Stream it live on Facebook and WLOUonline.com. And now, The Tipping Point Show.
What's going on, folks? Again, it is the Tipping Point Morning Show with yours truly, Mr. Just As Joe, and my other brother from another mother brother, John Yah, Esoteric Concepts. Folks, is the earth flat or round? That is the conversation for today. And in our private chat, Brother Pierre is just lighting up the chat with all type of links to support an ideal. We want to bring him to the stage and ask what he thinks when it comes to, is the earth flat or round? What's going on, family? How you doing, brother?
What's happening? How y'all doing this morning?
Awesome.
Good. I'm always glad to see you with this digital background of fake books and things on that digital background. Oh, look at technology. Look at how technology works, man.
We got the fake books back there.
Hey, I seen him before. I seen him when he was backstage. He was up there grabbing this book, grabbing that book. He's like, let me go to my flat earth section over here and start grabbing all the books out that I need.
I actually don't have any flat earth books, man. I don't have any flat earth physical books, I should say.
Got you.
Yeah.
Man, so this conversation transpired. We thought about it, and it is understood that you are a what when it comes to this belief? Are you a round earther?
So I think that for me, I think that we're all on the quest for truth. And so once you're on the quest for truth, you have to be open to understanding all the theories that are at play. And so most of us have all been taught the ball earth theory, which is actually called heliocentric model. So it's heliocentricity versus geocentric. All right. So when people call it flat earth, it's really like a derogatory term. Nobody thinks that it's flat like a pizza, nothing like that. That's crazy. But geocentric which is actually heliocentric model versus the geocentric model, which goes back to the Ptolemaic model versus the Copernicus model. So the Ptolemaic model is the geocentric model, aka flat Earth, and that was the truth of the world until the 1500s, where the Europeans came with the ball Earth theory, heliocentricity, which is Nicholas Copernicus. So that's where the two theories are. So that's the flat Earth versus the ball Earth. But before the Copernican model in 1500s, everybody across the whole earth knew that the earth was flat. Like it was just like a known fact. And if you thought anything otherwise, I mean, you'd be stoned to death. Right? Like it was like how people like crack jokes on flat earthers now. Well, it was the opposite role before, Copernicus came along, where if you were saying that the earth was a ball, like you were an idiot. Right? So those are the two models that's at play. Where I stand at, to answer your question, is that I think that there's enough evidence to support the geocentric model, and there are too many inconsistencies with the ball Earth model. And the sources from where we get that knowledge from are also pulled into question. So until that could be clarified, I'm on the side of geocentric model, flat Earth. I'm gonna rock with my flat Earth people. So we'll see how it goes. And again, a lot of people that are afraid to put out what they think because of group thinking. Nobody thinks for themselves. Nobody actually takes the time to go and look at these things, because you don't want to be criticized or ostracized by your peers or other people and think that you're an idiot. And so nobody, most credible people wouldn't come out and put their name on the line, afraid of backlash, and that it may discredit them from anything else. Because somebody says, oh, you believe the earth is flat? Well, you're an idiot. I can't trust your models on anything else that you do in life. I can't trust anything because you believe in that one thing. So it discredits your whole life work. So nobody's brave enough to come out and say, you saw Stephen Curry, you saw Shaquille O'Neal, you saw our black athletes that came out, LeBron James, and all of them. They were saying, hey, and he was asking Kyrie Irving, what's the shape of the earth? He said, it's flat. And the whole world started attacking them. So
they all go to the same Bible study group.
Look, I'm just saying the whole world attacked them. So then they're forced to concede, because why is this whole geocentric thought theory so threatening to the world, or the powers, I should say the powers at B? Why is it so threatening that they come to attack it? Well, you can worship the devil and nobody will bother you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can literally put videos on YouTube and YouTube will not change the algorithms or nothing. Like YouTube, Google, and all of them have suppressed the flat earth movement because it gained so much momentum. It was a threat. And you can actually look at the congressional hearings where Congress, the government, was pressuring YouTube, which is owned by Google, Facebook, and all the social media platforms, to suppress, or he said, do something about it. And so they all gave account that they were suppressing it. They were actually putting it lower in the feed and replacing it with debunked videos. So if you came to learn about flat earth about 4 years ago, 3 years ago, you would have got the best information you could find. Now, if you type it in, you're going to get bombarded with debunked videos. So you're not going to get real flat earth videos. So anybody who's like new to trying to understand it, they're going to be like, oh, this is ridiculous because somebody's already debunked it. And those things are all subjective. And so why is it that this is so threatening that the powers that be are trying to suppress it? When people can believe that they are, men or women, people that think that they're the opposite race, then their genetics actually show, which is a fact. If you're born a male, you're a male. You can think that you're a female, but nobody bothers that, right? You can think that you're a wolf or an animal, anything that you want, right? So this is a play on people's beliefs, and it's about control. So, and that's where I'm at with it.
Gotcha. So, when we talk about this, John, what is your take? I'm gonna say, for me, I'm a round guy. I like round. I like Georgia Peach.
Everybody's around Earth. Hold on, everybody's around Earth though. Don't make no mistake. Everybody is a ball earther. It's not round, because both models are round. Most people don't understand a circle and a sphere is the same thing. One is flat, one is spherical. They're both round. But we're all ball earth theories because that's what we were all institutionalized. All the school systems teach you that. You wouldn't know otherwise. Where our ancestors didn't have schools to teach you that. That was the observations. So the observations that they made from all they was doing, they concluded that it was flat. But now we're taught that it's a ball, so we believe it. So until you actually do the research, you don't know what you are. You can't actually make a claim until you actually weigh both sides. And then you say, okay, I weighed both sides here. I'm going to go with this side. This is my bias. They're both theories. We're all trying to understand the universe. So you can have your, you can have your
maybe that's where all the
device.
missing kids are, or missing people of the earth. They all went to Antarctica to figure it out, and they fell off the edge. I don't
But
know.
see, that's again, that's derogatory, right? And again, because your lack of understanding of the model, you have to try to understand the model before you could throw rocks at it, right? So try to understand the model. Most people don't try to understand it because you've been so institutionalized. Like you can't get to an edge.
So
Think
are you
about it.
are
The
you
whole
saying an
situation with
eclipse is
Antarctica.
fake?
No,
And
what I'm saying is that no. Eclipses have been listen, eclipses don't have nothing to do. First of all, anything that's in the heavens has nothing to do with the earth. You say, and this is another
right.
fallacy that a lot of these guys make. They say, oh, all the planets are round and all this other stuff are circles. So the earth under your feet got to be a ball because the lights in the sky that you see is a ball. It's like you looking at me and you say, hey, he got a New York fitted, so he must got Air Force Ones on his feet. Or he got a New York fitted on his head, so he must got Timberlands on his feet. That has nothing to do with what's on my feet. So what's under your feet is the earth. Again, understand the models before you criticize it so you can understand. And then you can ask good questions. The questions that you ask, a lot of questions that people ask are not meaningful questions because they don't apply to the model as we know it. And it's derogatory when you say, oh, if you're applying ball earth theory, yeah, that sounds ridiculous. But that doesn't apply to the geocentric model, which again ruled for over 1,500 years. The heliocentric model is the newest model. You don't understand. Every civilization around the earth knew that the earth was flat for a fact. They could predict all things in the heavens, just as the white man could do today. The Egyptians were doing this way before them, before telescopes and all that other stuff. They could predict it because it's all circular, right? So the heavens, if you ever seen a star map, they all go in a circle. Okay. Polaris is the North Star. It's fixed in the middle. All other stars revolve around it in a circle. Most people don't know that. Your schools don't teach you about all of this. They indoctrinate you. And most people, you see the little solar systems in your classroom, the little big sun and the planets going around it. That's not even the newest model. The newest model is the helical model, where all of that is flying through space, millions of miles per hour, circling and wobbling and spinning, lots of revolving around. You haven't even seen that. You don't even know if Pluto is a planet right now. Pluto is a planet 1 month, the next month is not a planet. This stuff is constantly changing. It's all theories. And so before we hold on to something as if it's the objective truth, I think that you need to do a little more research to try to understand it so that you can make a decision on what your bias is going to be. So the geocentric model, to explain it to you, the geocentric model is again, the Ptolemaic model. It says that the earth is the center of the universe. The heliocentric model, which is called the ball earth theory, is that the sun is in the center of the universe and everything revolves around that. Those are the two models that we're debating, right?
Did you say that the first model was the Tyler Perry made model?
Ptolemaic, the P is silent, so PT, right? Ptolemaic. The Ptolemaic model is the geocentric model. And so again, you can look at all ancient maps, look at depictions of the world, look at Egyptians depiction of the world, look at the Mayans, the Aztecs, look at the Hebrew from the Bible, look at everybody knew it was flat with a dome covering it. If you're a Christian, the Bible itself is a flat earth book. Start at Genesis chapter 1. Most people don't skip that. Your preachers don't preach creation and stuff like that. They know it's too controversial because they don't want to go head to head with scientists because they're not equipped to debate scientists. So they like to try to stay away from that because they're not equipped to debate the scientists and stand behind their beliefs because of popular, a lot of things that's like accepted as truth is just because it's popular. It doesn't make it an objective truth, right? So you have to stand on your truth. And I'm gonna stand on my truth until somebody can prove otherwise. I'm willing to concede if you can show me a picture of the earth in its entirety as a ball. Show me one picture and I concede right now. Why can't you show me a picture of the earth as a ball?
I don't know. What about this question here? Who commissioned the latest model, or what science organization agree with the latest model? And I want you to think about that. But before you answer it, John, I want to get back to you and let you jump in there and speak to this.
Okay, so I'm an objective thinker, of course. I don't believe everything I think. So I'm always open, and that for me is my way to be creative. If you believe in everything you think, then it's done. You're stuck. If you open up and don't believe everything you think, then you're open for new ideals, new horizon, new understanding. As knowledge as information is always advancing, nothing stays the same. All right. So So I'm going to ask a couple of questions. I want to ask some questions to get what this model looks like. This is the part that we need to get to. What do the model look like? So I'm going to ask you a few questions, and you can just answer it, with what you do know, what you don't know. That's fine. So now, this is considered a dome. So what we're saying is that when we're talking about this planet, we're saying it's actually in a dome that is not circling all the way around, but like this, correct? Are we there with that? Okay. The second question, is the sun and the moon under the dome or out of the dome?
So, if you go to, again, I know you're not a Bible believer, but the Bible is a flat earth book. So you have to go to Genesis chapter 1. Genesis chapter 1 explains this. And the Genesis account is something that we can observe to be true in real life today. Okay. The Genesis chapter 1, I mean, if you could pull it up, I don't know if you could pull it up, Joe, but you pull up Genesis chapter 1. It's not that long. You just go through maybe like 20 little verses there. And it explains the whole creation story that actually matches our observation in real life. It explains the stars, it explains the moon, it explains the sun and all these things, right? And so it explains how the stars, what's the purpose of the stars? The stars is for man to navigate the world and to tell the seasons and the times, that matches our, what we actually observe, right? If you're ever lost in the woods, they tell you to always find the North Star. Most people don't know how to find it, but if you can find the North Star, you can navigate the world because you will never go around in circles. And North Star is Polaris. And the reason they know this because the Egyptians and all ancient cultures know that star doesn't move. All other stars move around it in a circle. So anyway, that's just one of the things. But in the Bible, it talks about the firmament itself, and it's called Rakia in the Hebrew tongue. So it's the firmament that protects the earth, that's covering the earth. The stars, the sun and the moon are in the firmament. That's
so your answer is yes. Inside the dome, the sun and the moon is in the dome, not out of the dome. Yeah. Now, what about the other solar systems, the other planets? Are they in the dome or out of the dome?
So we're saying dome, but it's the firmament, right? And so that's why I said
correct. That's the way.
To understand what the firmament is, where it says God separated the waters from the waters. Okay, it's not as hard as you think it is. All right, but the firmament itself. Okay, and it said God sits above the firmament, right? He sits above the circle of the earth, above the firmament. So we're saying that's heaven, above that area. Okay, in the firmament itself, that's where the star, you have the stars and the sun, the moon, and all that stuff, right? That's revolving around the center of the universe, which is the earth, which is stationary. It's fixed. It doesn't move. That's the model.
Okay, so clearly, the other stars out there are not in the firmament. It's not in the dome. It's out of the dome. So when we look up into a telescope, I have one that I look up into a telescope to look at stars. Yeah. Am I looking inside the firmament, the dome, or am I looking out the dome?
You're looking in the firmament.
Okay, so then the stars that are out there are all inside this dome, and the dome comes only to the part of the earth that's connected. So in other words, you would agree that we cannot escape the dome. We can't leave the dome. Is that correct?
Correct.
You do believe that scientists cannot create a machine that can go past the dome, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so now, but they have made machines to go up as high as the dome. Is that a yes or a no? Would you agree with that? That they have created rockets,
yeah,
to go up there, but can't penetrate the dome.
Correct.
Correct. Okay, so now ride with me for a second here for a second. Now here's where it gets interesting. Okay, so here's the dome. Beneath the dome is this thing we're walking on, this rock or a planet. And the dome goes to the ends all the way around of this, what we call the flat earth, but it might got a little curve to it, but let's just right now call it the flat earth. So now we're living in this dome, And inside this dome, all that we can see is inside the dome too. So nothing's outside the dome because everything exists is in the dome. Here's the interesting point. So the sun doesn't go around because it's in the dome. It can't go out and around the planet because it's in the dome. So instead, it circles this way in the dome. Instead of it going this way, it goes this way because it's inside of a dome. You know, okay, so here's the Earth, the planet. Here's the sun. The sun doesn't go around it. The sun goes this way. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, you observe the sun come from the east to the west.
Right. So we're talking this way. We're talking this circular, not this circular. Okay. Mm-hmm. So because it can't go, the sun is not going on the other side of this rock to see the bottom. Nor can we send a spaceship to go around and look at the bottom either. Of course, if we can't leave the dome, we can't send a ship out the dome. We don't know what's on the other side of this rock. It could be just dirt. It could be whatever. But we're talking not round. We're talking sort of flat, maybe with a little curve, but nothing on the other side. That's for sure. Okay. So now ride with me for a second here. As y'all see, y'all can listen to what I'm asking here. So now you have the sun and you have the moon inside the dome doing this. I haven't seen, and I'm not new at this, by the way. And this ain't a new subject for me, okay? This subject kind of been around for a little while. 4 or 5 years ago, it surfaced again, right? And it's surfacing back again now. And we'll talk about why it's surfacing later. I just want to get some facts so I can clear my objective mind up to understand this because I have an objective thought. So in other words, the moon is here, the sun is here. So we have it circling this flat Earth this away, not this away. Okay, so now if that's the case, are they equal? In other words, is the moon following the sun? Or according to science, is the moon circling the Earth? So if the moon is not circling the Earth and it's in the dome, so it's going around the dome like the sun. So if the sun is on that side, it's dark on this side. If the sun is on this side shining, it's dark over here. So therefore, you can see the moon because the moon is reflecting the sun over here. I mean, we're riding with me, right? Because we're still in a dome. This is why I think the brother asked about an eclipse. How is it possible for it to be an eclipse? An eclipse if they both like this? They must have to have some division in order to create that. And that becomes the mystery. How is that possible? Because and there's a great documentary on Netflix that I think I saw maybe about 4 years ago about the flat Earth. It actually proved that the Earth is round based on lasers that could go so many distance. And they used 2 poles that the laser was here and the other in the desert, flat desert, and the other piece that the laser was supposed to hit if the Earth was flat would have been on point. But because there's a curve, the laser missed this mark by a few degrees. So they kind of said, okay, if you add that few degrees over and over again to so many spaces or meters, you will see the curvature and you can possibly calculate that to the whole Earth. Now I ain't saying it is, I'm saying that's what they did. Now check this out. If you're on the East Coast and you're looking at the ocean actually looks flat from your condition of your eyes. Remember, this is an illusion. Beyond that is the real. So if you're looking at the ocean, it looks flat. You can't see the curve. You don't know what's on the other side of that ocean. But check this out. The sun rises slowly but surely above that water. It goes over my head, peak above me, depending on where it's coming from, peaks above me, which is noon, and it goes down to the west coast, back into the waters again. Now, where does that go? Because as my understanding, as I'm standing on this flat earth, it should be going this way, not going down to where it disappears and it's purely dark. So then the other side of the earth gets light while this side of the earth doesn't. Here's what's interesting. Why is it that there's no scientists around the world? Is this a theory just for Americans? Only Americans believe in this? Or is this the Chinese believe this? Are there Chinese scientists? Are there Russian scientists? Is there any whistleblower saying, hey, America, you motherfuckers are wrong. The earth is fucking flat? Is there anybody saying this? And by the way, it was the Greeks that discovered the earth was flat first after they did their research from the Egyptians, because Egyptians knew it first. That's how they were able to sail with the current. But the point is that, and we went back into the dark age with the Romans, or not with the Romans. And so then the Romans flipped it and said, oh, the earth is flat. Then we came back to this century. But the point is this. If the earth is flat, why ain't our greatest scientists, are they all under some type of contract that if they tell this truth or reveal that they can't get above the dome or go around? I mean, we've been dealing with this for centuries. And all I hear is from people that are not that educated. Now, I know this. I know several military guys. I know a lot. My father was in the military, okay? I think I got an uncle that was in the Air Force, okay? We got Patar. Patar was in the military. He had been in the Navy. Surely he would know something about something being flat, because I know he traveled the world if he's been in the Navy ship, right? We got brothers that's in the Air Force. I think, I don't know, is that where Leonard was? But my point is that everybody... Is everybody on this level, even the military people, are they sworn to secrecy not to tell?
So you laid a lot out. So I appreciate, the inquiry itself. And so we'll try to uncover as much as I can here. If I could ask Brother Joe, if the links that I put in the chat there, if I can have you to put, pull those up. If you can start with the link that I posted in there talking about the height of space. So that's another question for you, Brother Yah. If the Earth is a ball, which we have the calculations for, we have the math for it, so we can model it. How high must you be to see the curvature of the Earth, right? You see, for a lot of people, like, oh, I see it from the airplane window. Most people don't understand the airplanes only go to 35,000 feet high above the Earth. So with Brother Joe pull up, the diagram from NASA, I mean, I can pull one up myself to show you guys. I have a book here that shows you the layers of space. So Hollywood has done a job.
Is this the YouTube video?
Not the YouTube one, but the NASA link, the last one. Understand space. NASA shows the height of space, right?
Earth's atmospheric layers. Let's go ahead and we'll pull that up.
Now understand that your trusted source for this knowledge comes from not Black people, but comes from Europeans, comes from NASA. Okay, now so check this out. This is space. Now most people understand Hollywood, what they showed us in Disney pictures and stuff like that. So our understanding of space is fictional. We don't understand it. We believe in science fiction, but according to NASA, this is the layers of space. So if you look down and you see that big mountain there, that's supposed to be Mount Everest. Okay, so that's supposed to be Mount Everest. In that lower troposphere, that's where airplanes fly. That low. If you see how low that is, there's no possible way that you can see any curvature of the Earth from an airplane or from the top of Mount Everest. People are just losing their minds because it doesn't even align with this, right? So even if the Earth is a ball, right? Say it is a ball, you still can't see it from this altitude, from this high. Now, the balloon in the stratosphere, that's the next layer up. High altitude balloons, weather balloons, where they're studying the Earth. This is where they roam, in the stratosphere. And these things are going, 100,000 feet in the air. We have high altitude video footage, which is one of the videos that I posted in there to show you guys so you can observe the Earth with your own eyes. Forget what somebody taught you. I'm just showing you that you can only observe a flat Earth. That is a fact. You can't observe a ball Earth. You can only observe the flatness of the Earth. So I'm going off the observation here. I don't care about no math equation. I don't care about no sticks and shadows. From 120,000 feet in the air, Tell me, what do you see? You see a flat horizon. The horizon is always flat. As you rise up, the horizon is always flat. Okay, so this is the Earth, the real Earth as we know it. Okay, and so that's just that, right? In that model from NASA, when they're showing you the altitudes of space, you have to be above 400,000 feet in the air in order for you to be in considered what's called outer space. There's nobody that can go outer space. All right. So everything that you're seeing in revolving involving outer space is fictional. All right. Even Obama, for those who love Obama, he cut NASA's budget because he says that they're still stuck in lower Earth orbit. So I wanted to show you the atmosphere so you could understand when they're talking about space, they're talking about what's called lower Earth orbit. It's under the exosphere. Beyond the exosphere is outer space. And there's a reason why they cannot go outer space, according to even NASA, like the Van Allen radiation belts. You can't go beyond the Van Allen radiation belts. No humans can go through it. We don't have any materials that can actually withstand those levels of radiation. You will immediately die. The material will immediately just be destroyed. Before you even get to the exosphere and the thermosphere and the highest layer, it is so hot. It is over 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. We don't even have metals that can withstand that level of temperatures. Okay, boiling temperatures of all metals will all just melt. So it is impossible, according to that science, that you cannot go beyond the thermosphere.
Don't
Okay.
don't take that picture down, Joe. I want to hold that picture up till he finish.
Okay. Oh yeah. And again, so when you see the pictures from high altitude or spaceships or Sir Richard Branson who's selling people $1 million tickets to go in lower Earth orbit, you're not going out of space. See, people are thinking you're going out of space. You're not going out of space. Nobody can go out of space because it is protected. And flat Earths will call it a dome. The Bible says it's a firmament. NASA says it is the Van Allen radiation belts. Okay, you have all these layers in space, but when they get up high, optics is everything. You understand? So when I say optics is everything, understand that optics is everything. Just because you see a person that walks past you, they have titties and booty and long hair, you assume that it's a woman until you go into further details and you see that they have an Adam's apple and their voice is deeper than yours and they got a penis. It is a man that looks like a woman. So optics is everything. So when I talk about optics, yes, when you see the footage, anything dealing with lenses, cameras, understand concave and convex. What happens when you have fisheye lens? So in order for you to be able to take a wide angle lens, a wide angle picture, in my phone, I got wide angle, lenses in here, right? The lens has to curve so it can capture more light so that you can see more, a wider spread, right? And so when you take that picture, and again, I have video editing software, I got Adobe Premiere because I do video stuff. I have Photoshop. When you put it in Photoshop, Photoshop will ask you what camera did you take it on, because Photoshop understands how that lens is curved, and then it's called lens distortion, where the lens, the picture itself will be curved, and so it must flatten it out because it's distorted. You're not seeing a true image of it. It must be flattened. And so what happens is with the optics, when you have a fisheye lens, a wide angle lens, so when you're taking pictures like this, especially you got to have a wide angle lens. And you'll see it on all the video footage. Anytime they launch anything to lower Earth orbit, you'll see this occur. So the phenomenon is this. So when they go up from a flat position, the horizon, which is always flat, the horizon which you guys are seeing on the screen, is going to always be flat. The distortion occurs when you have a slight tilt downward. Slight tilt downward, it distorts flat lines. It distorts flat line. The horizontal lines start to curve. All right. And then, your vertical lines, they start to bulge outwards. Okay. Now, when you actually tilt up, okay, it ends up dipping and bending like a banana. Okay. So this is optics. This is what I'm talking about with optics. Most people don't understand. But if you have a camera, if you have fisheye lenses, which I do, you can actually see this. You can make your front porch in your neighborhood curve like a ball, depending on how you actually tilt your camera. So the more you tilt, the more extreme the round the curve becomes. Okay, and that must be corrected from a Photoshop program that corrects the curvature, the distortion from the lens itself. And so any video footage that's seen, any pictures that's seen, is all distorted from the lens. You can put it in Photoshop and correct it if you know the lens and everything. So, but from this observation, what you guys can see, that the Earth doesn't change shapes. I think we all can agree that it doesn't bend like a banana. and it wouldn't wobble and curve like this. And so when you see it from space, when Sir Richard Branson and all them, so you'll see it bend like a banana, and then it'll curve. This is a lens effect called lens distortion. So what I'm telling you is that all the horizon is always flat. No matter how high you go, it's always flat.
Gotcha.
So it's impossible, yeah. It's impossible to get curvature from down Earth. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so then now first of all, Photoshop is a dangerous tool on both sides. Number one, because this is Photoshop. So here's the question in looking at
it's not Photoshop, it's a video.
Yeah, still. It can be still, videos can be Photoshop. When I say Photoshop, it don't mean still pictures. You can do that with movies too. But I'm gonna ask you a question.
It's not Photoshop though. I do want to correct you that it's not Photoshop. And it's not CGI. It's just what you're seeing, because you'll see it bend, you see it warp. It is the distortion as I explained it.
Gotcha. So I'm sure about what I'm looking at here. So I'm gonna ask you a question about what I'm looking at. Is that the sun? Is that a light? Is that the sun? Is that in the dome or out of the dome?
So again, all this stuff is in the dome.
Okay, so now we're talking in the dome. So now, what is it that we can't break? Because I'm looking at a line here that is on the land. What is that? Is that the atmosphere that we spoke about that you can't pass, or is it above the sun? Because accordingly, that they have sent technology far as high as the dome. If they have, and it's true, then they went above the sun and they could look down on the sun if that's the case. Or maybe they can't go that high, because remember now, the sun is inside the dome, not out of the dome. So we can't break the dome, but we sure can fuck around and travel in the dome. So now, isn't it true? Why wouldn't it be more pictures? Because see, what you're showing me here doesn't describe anything, as the Earth is a very massive piece of rock or a piece of planet. And so I have seen curvatures because I've been in planes. I've seen it. And it wasn't an illusion. I could see the shape of it. But the question is,
hold on, you saying you saw the curvature of the Earth from the airplane?
Yeah, I know there's a curve there. I've been in a plane. I've seen the curve, and I know you may say, no, it ain't a curve. You're just looking at it straight. Okay, but here's
hold on. I just showed you the Earth. I just showed you the atmosphere from NASA.
Correct.
So what you're saying, so what you saw, either what you saw is a distortion, or NASA is lying based off of the altitude of space. There's no possible way that you can see it from 30,000 feet high. It is impossible.
No. What I'm telling you is I don't believe that objective, and what I'm trying to do is question that objective. I'm asking, where's the dome?
120,000. Hold on, but you're asking a different question.
Okay.
This is 120,000 feet high. You're 30,000 feet on the airplane. Even if the Earth is a ball, you're too low to see a any curvature from an airplane's altitude. You only get 35,000 feet high. This is 120,000 feet that we're showing you from high altitude balloon footage. There's no way you can even get that high. And it is totally flat.
But wait a minute.
No way that you can see curvature from a lower altitude.
Correct. So then there must be two layers. There must be a layer in the dome, lower, and there must be a layer above. Because remember, the sun is in the dome. So we can go so high. So therefore, if the sun is here in the dome, we can only go so high. We can't go above the sun, can we? There's something stopping us, even though the sun is in the dome, there's something stopping us of going above the sun. We still can't get out the big dome. So it must be two domes. Is that correct?
So your focus is more on the dome versus the Earth. That I'm showing you the Earth, right?
Correct.
And I just showed you that I just refuted your claim that you saw the curvature of the Earth. What you saw was a distortion of the windows. The curvature of the window itself is what is causing you to think that you see the Earth curvature. You can look at the gyroscope, is what pilots use to fly airplanes. The gyroscope does not fucking lie. The gyroscope is what allows pilots to fly perfectly flat over the plane of Earth. That's what you have, an aircraft over the plane, airplane. There you go, aircraft over a plane, Earth, right? The gyroscope, once pilots fly up to altitude, that means they're going to get up to their height. They must level off. If you look up the gyroscope,
that's right.
The joke and pull up the picture of a gyroscope, it stays rigid in space. It does not move. It doesn't matter. Airplanes fly perfectly flat over the Earth, no matter what distance you go. No matter how far you go, they don't dip their nose constantly trying to go around a ball, right? And so here we go.
That won't make sense, brother. If you explain the Earth, Okay.
No, you're not listening.
Go ahead.
Look, if the airplane has to fly perfectly flat, okay, I'm flying perfectly flat over the earth, right? If you fly perfectly flat over a ball, you're gonna fly out into fucking space. You know what? You to go around, you must constantly dip your nose to go around and around and around. Pilots do not fly that way. They use a gyroscope, they fly up the altitude, and they fly perfectly flat. Ask your pilots every time you go fly, ask them how they fly. Ask them to show you the attitude indicators, show you the gyroscope. This also proves that the Earth is flat because, again, airplanes do not dip their nose. They fly perfectly flat.
Gotcha. Okay, back to the picture. Again, the sun is inside the dome. Can we go above and look down on the sun, not escape the dome? I'm hearing an echo. I'm hearing an echo.
Well, the echo.
Okay. Yeah, I'm hearing an echo.
I hear the echo also. Is that someone?
You got another window?
No. Nope.
Hello.
Yeah, echo. Close it out. Close that window out.
Hey everyone, so it's been almost exactly 1 year since I published my innocuous little...
We still got an echo? Yeah, we do.
Yeah, hold on a second. Go ahead and try it now.
We still got echo? Yes, we do.
Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. Do you hear it now?
No, I didn't hear it. Oh, I hear mine. Yep, I hear it.
Yours? Okay. What about you, Pierre? Do you hear echo right at this second?
No, I do not hear an echo.
But I heard him.
Hold on, I hear it now. I don't know what just happened.
I muted you and asked you that question, and you didn't hear the echo, and then I unmuted you for you to answer, and then you heard it. So, John, I'm gonna do the same thing.
You're not echoing right now.
No, you're not echoing. Because the reason why.
So it's whenever I think, John. Hold on 1 second. Go ahead, Pierre. Do you hear echo right now?
Yo.
No.
So when I speak, I hear the echo. When you speak, I don't hear the echo.
Okay. All right. Hold on, John. All right.
So it's coming back through your system. That's why we don't hear the echo on you. Something you got open is coming back through your system. When we speak, not when you speak.
Yeah, I don't have us open or anything like that. So here, I'm gonna step out and step back in, but y'all go ahead and continue conversation.
Close out this system. Okay. Pierre, I'm still hearing an echo. Pierre, unmute yourself.
Oh,
Can
my
you
bad.
hear me? Okay, the echo's gone. Can you hear me good?
Yes.
Good echo. It was on Joe's side. Okay, so basically, I'm trying to get the understanding of this dome. That because this is where the confusion comes in at. Okay. If the sun and the earth is inside the dome, it's not above the dome, it's inside the dome. So how far can man go? Man can go, we can't go out of the dome. Can we go as high as the dome?
Well, again, according to
under the sun.
According to NASA, nobody can escape the Van Allen radiation belt, right? So what is the Van Allen radiation belt? They say that it's, these very, very extremely harmful rays of radiation that layers the earth.
Correct.
And it's so harmful that it's more radiation than anything that you can possibly be exposed to on earth.
Correct.
We don't have no mechanisms that can withstand the levels of radiation. So again, just the Van Allen radiation itself debunks the whole idea that Europeans went to the moon and put the American flag on there and claimed the moon. That's impossible, right? So you look at, and that's according to NASA and their Van Allen radiation belt. They created a probe that they're supposed to be sending back, and that probe itself Again, they saying that they had to try to solve for the Van Allen radiation belts because they can't solve for it yet. So therefore, they can't fly to the moon until they can solve for this. Now, this is 2022. They claim they did it in 1969. The technology, the equipment that was used in 1969 is so inferior to the technology we have today. It is ridiculous for anyone to even entertain the nonsense about the moon landings and all that stuff, right? So
We back
in
at that echo again. I'm
Hello?
hearing it. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, Pierre.
All right. So in 1969, we looked at the IBM 9070 mainframe computer terminals that they use. Those computers had a whopping 4 megabytes of RAM. I got like 8 gigabytes in my watch. All right. We live in a far more superior, technologically advanced civilization today. However, the astronauts of NASA and NASA claims that that technology they had in 1969 was too sophisticated for us to rebuild it. And it was destroyed miraculously after we allegedly went to the moon in 1969. We're talking half a century ago. There was no internet, people. There was no internet. Okay, you understand? There was, we didn't have supercomputers. Okay, but we had CGI, right? And so again, optics is everything. They can fake it. They do Hollywood. They do it all the time. They were doing it, and that was military equipment. Nowadays, everybody got Photoshop. Everybody got green screen. But then it was easy to fool the people. I mean, you got to understand the technology that was at the time, why people believe in the lies that we believe in. Okay, so that's why I say when you actually uncover this stuff, you actually look into it, you see that it doesn't stand up. It's too many holes in it. And if we can refute any of the claims, then you got to call into question the whole entire hypothesis. Where do we get the source of this information from? We're getting it from NASA. We see what they show us, right? They're the ones who get $25 billion a year. So special interest groups that's lobbying Congress to get all this money from taxpayer dollars. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, all these guys here, they don't spend money. Nobody in their right mind would spend their own capital on space. It is a black hole for your money. So what they do is get free money from the government to pay high paid salaries to people that want to participate in science fiction. All right. So you can do mathematics all you want, but it doesn't make anything real. Einstein himself, his math was only usable when he was able to create weapons of mass destruction for the Europeans. When he started talking about black holes and leaks and quarks and all this other stuff, what they ended up doing is silencing Einstein. They stopped backing him. Einstein died a lonely man. Nobody cared about him and his theories because he was a math magician going in circles with math. They didn't care. They started going with the younger physicists who was able to allow them to create weapons of mass destruction.
Hey, Brother Pierre.
Yeah.
We kind of went left. I'm just trying to get a clear understanding. When we talk about the radiation belt, is the radiation belt that you say we cannot pass, is it above the sun or is it under the sun?
Again,
the radiation belt that we can't pass.
Yeah, but that doesn't actually matter. I mean, like I explained.
Well, yes, it doesn't matter. See, I'm talking to
How does it matter about this?
I'm not talking to the person that's well read like you are, that can quote all of that. I'm trying to speak to the person that's layman. So that's why I want you to just get the layman part. When you say radiation belt, we can't pass. Is that radiation belt above the sun or is it under the sun? Which you said this is why we can't reach the moon, because we are under the radiation belt. So is that radiation belt the dome or is the dome above the radiation belt? That's what I'm trying to get now.
Right. So again, back to the atmospheric layers, which again, like I had Brother Joe to pull that up. If you go there, yeah. So that's what we're looking at, people. So you can see this. This is from NASA. I didn't make this shit up. The exosphere is way up there above where satellites are. So exosphere, beyond the exosphere is outer space, people. That's what NASA says. Anything under that is the region that they call lower Earth orbit. Okay, you can hear Obama talk about it. This, that, and the third. That is not outer space. That's lower Earth orbit.
So where's the sun? Is the sun in the lower Earth orbit or above it? So that line is at the top. That 400 line. Is the sun above that or is it under that?
Right. So again, that's outer space. But the layers of the atmosphere, to explain how complicated this is, if you scroll down real quick.
Very complicated.
Yeah. Scroll down. Okay. If you see where it says the ionosphere, do you know what the ionosphere is?
Explain it.
It's right there. You can read it out there, Brother Joe.
The ionosphere is an abundant layer of electrons and ionized atoms and molecules that stretches from about 48 kilometers, which is about 30 miles, above the surface to the edge of space at about 965 kilometers, 600 miles, overlapping into the mesosphere and thermosphere. This dynamic region grows and shrinks based on solar conditions and divides further into sub-regions, D, E, and F, based on what wavelength of solar radiation is absorbed. The ionosphere is a critical link in the chain of Sun-Earth interactions. This region is what makes radio communications possible.
All right, so because of that, the ionosphere, it goes through different layers, and it says that it makes radio communications possible. That's an important line for you to understand. Why is that impossible? Because most people think that you're talking on your phone and you're on the internet because of satellites in the air. Satellites have nothing to do with how we're communicating. It's called triangulation, where they bounce signals from ground towers. Which you go back up to the diagram, you'll see radio towers. It shows you. All communications is ground-based communication towers. They're on the ground, not in space. And the ground, you see it triangulate. It bounces a signal off the ionosphere, reflects a signal off of something in space that comes back to your cell phone, that goes back to your computers and all of that other stuff. That is how we are able to communicate. They're bouncing off of something. What are they bouncing off of? How can you bounce something off of if there's nothing up there? Right? So it's bouncing signals off of a layer in the atmosphere called the ionosphere. That's how we're able to communicate. This is what they discovered. Right, so if you take a look at historical facts, right? They were actually bombing the dome, right? You can see video footage of them launching nuclear atomic bombs against some structure in the air. They was trying to blow through it, and what they discovered is every time they was detonating the bombs off the layer in the space, it was causing blackouts on Earth. It was disturbing communications. It was charging. They was charging these things, and this is what all led to, again, them trying to go to space and all that stuff, trying to blow through. And like my man said in the thing, internet. All internet is on, ground, underwater cables. That's right, under the oceans. It's not in satellites, so people don't understand this stuff. But space, Hollywood got us all thinking in, this myth that we're in outer space and satellites and aliens and all this other stuff. That's not true. So I'm just showing you,
okay,
we don't understand all the things of what's in the heavens. We just know what we can observe. And so I don't really know what your point is with, the whole dome situation. I explained it to you. Genesis 1, it talks about how God, set the firmament and how he put the stars and all that stuff in the firmament. So it's layers deep, nobody can go there to actually verify it. The NOAA controls space. You can't even go to space if you wanted to. Nobody can actually go because the central authorities control the whole entire space thing. So the question to you is, why can you not show me one picture of the Earth in its rotundity, please?
It's interesting. You can't show me a picture of it being flat either. You can't, right? So my point I'm trying to get is just a simple. What I'm trying to get is a simple understanding. Now, information for me that I understand, it comes from satellites. Unless you saying there ain't no satellites up there.
Well, hold on, but didn't Elon Musk send some probes out to Mars?
Correct.
So hold on, don't they send probes to the sun? They claim they sent probes to the sun. They claim they send probes to Mars to the moon all the time.
Yeah.
Why can't they turn around and take a picture of this Earth?
I would agree. So then everything that is inside this firmament, this layer, this radiation layer this belt that we can't pass, actually is not above the sun. It is beneath the sun.
Are you asking me that question?
Yeah, because that seems to kind of be confusing when we're talking about the radiation belt. Is that above the sun in the dome? Because you said earlier, the sun and the moon are inside the sphere. The firmament. So if it's in the firmament, which I'll call the dome, so just translate
the snow globe.
Then the radiation belt is here, or the radiation belt is here.
The snow globe is a simplification of the model. That's nobody thinks that we live in a glass dome like that. You see, but as I was just explaining how complicated the layers of the upper atmosphere are, it's layers of this stuff. Like, it's not like, you know what I mean? So we don't know beyond the exosphere. We don't know. You can't go.
Well, wait a minute. Hold up. You just said that some country tried to blow up by sending a missile up there, right?
They was
It went to the top of the dome to hit the dome part, right? It couldn't go. It went to blow this up, right? So if it did that, and the sun is here, and the moon and the moon is here, then surely they could take pictures downward, above the sun and above the moon, and look down on the earth. Surely, scientists. Listen, I would love to have.
So why are there no pictures?
Right, even on both sides. What, y'all ain't got scientists that got space? I would love to support and send money to any of y'all that want to leave this planet and go see that shit yourself. Is anybody on your side creating a spaceship to go up there to look down to prove that it's flat?
No.
America don't even have spaceships to get to space.
Hold on.
Let's let Leonard get.
Let me jump
in here real quick because he wants to take it back for a quick second and talk about this gyroscope theory.
All right,
it's not a theory. The gyroscope is a mechanism. It is a machine.
Listen. I've held a gyroscope in my hand. I was aviation. Listen. You know, I got 28 years of aviation, right? So like I said, is you have two gyroscopes on a plane, right? One gyroscope is in the front and in the back of the plane. Okay. So the front gyroscope, either one of them is vertical, the other one is horizontal. The gyroscope does not control the altimeter of the plane. It is the radar altimeter that controls the altimeter. Once you set the radar altimeter of a plane, then it's going to stay at that altimeter until a mountain or until a valley. Matter of fact, in Washington State, flying in CH-47 helicopters over the Yakima National Park, we have to be careful with the radar altimeter because you can go over a cliff and that radar altimeter, if it's set at 500 feet, you go over a cliff, it's going to drop the aircraft down to 500 feet. See, so like I said, but what the gyroscope does is it keeps the aircraft in line. Okay, it keeps it level at altitude and level at altitude, and it keeps it straight at altitude. Okay,
flat.
So you don't flat. So you don't yaw or you don't pitch or you don't roll from side to side. That's what it does. Okay, but radar altimeter is what keeps the plane at a certain height in the sky. All right, that's that. So, but after that, right quick, forget about pictures of a flat Earth or a round Earth. Show me a picture of the edge. That's what I want to see.
There you go.
Of the Earth. If you can show a picture of the edge of the Earth, if the edge exists.
Right. So that's something that we can't do, right? And so the thing is that, again, to your question of the gyroscope, you said nothing different from what I said. What I said is specifically what you said. You fly up to altitude and you fly perfectly leveled because that's what the gyroscope allows you to do. Because you gotta fly level so that you don't crash the damn plane or go off course, right? So you fly perfectly level across the Earth. It doesn't matter. People say, I flew around the Earth. Well, did they dip the nose? You don't dip the nose and go around a curvature. You fly up and you fly flat
and like
all the way across.
But that does not control the altitude. That's
not a discussion. What I said is that they fly up to altitude. You get up to height, whether you're going to 30,000 feet. That's of no concern. What I'm saying is that you're flying level while using the gyroscope. That's why you have to fly perfectly level. So that's what I'm talking about. That's flat. And so
the gyroscope works off of what principles? It works off of gravity because it spins. You have one that's horizontal and one that's vertical. So it not only flies.
Gravity is another topic, So again, that's why most people ask dumb questions, because you're applying ball Earth mechanics to the flat Earth, theory, which again is the geocentric model, and it doesn't apply. So you know, human beings are the Earth. That's more derogatory. That's not the model.
The Earth is actually.
Here you go. Look up the A.E. Gleason's map. This is patented. And it says that it's stated as correct and accurate as is. The Gleason's map was in the 1800s. Look this up.
Okay, but what we're talking about is technology.
That's the map that we have.
Understand human nature. When human beings cannot understand something, there's a mechanism within us to try to make things up. All right, is that not true? It is. We have to have answers.
No, it's not. We're trying to understand. No, from the beginning of time, we've always tried to understand all things phenomenal.
And that's right. That's right. So my point to that is, if we're trying to understand the real way of proving that the Earth is a disc, all right, a round disc, is to
No
go
one says
to
that
the
it's a disc.
edge
Again,
of
you're
the
being
earth.
derogatory. We said
A,
it's the
a
center of the
disc.
universe. All things revolve around this earth. The earth is the center
Okay,
of life. There's no life beyond earth. That is a
but
fact, right or wrong. There's no
but
earth beyond. There's no life beyond earth. Life only exists on earth. Life
but
can
whoa,
only
whoa,
exist on
we
earth.
don't know that for sure
This is the
because we
center.
don't know.
How do
We
you
don't
know
know.
that?
We don't know
All
that
the
for sure
elements that's
because we don't
required for
know.
life to
All the
the elements
we know that
required for life to exist is
listen,
only
we
found here
know
on
that
earth.
there's
This
no
place is
human
special.
life. We
No,
know
this
that
place
there's
is
no.
special. The lights that you see in the sky are not destination.
Don't get me wrong. I believe
Let him finish.
Okay, hold on.
There's
Let
no
everybody
human
talk.
life.
There you go, Leonard.
There's no human life beyond Earth, okay? But we don't understand complete life, all right? Or what
Hold on.
frequencies
Before
of
you continue,
vibrations
Brother
or
Joe,
whatever.
can you take that picture down?
Yeah, can you
Because
take that picture down? It's blocking Leonard.
It's derogatory. If you place the footage that I showed you of real Earth, not a cartoon picture, the Earth that we can observe, so that the audience can see what it really looks like, then let them don't manipulate what they are seeing. This is what you can actually
No, we
see
seeing
from
both of them. We
120,000.
seeing what you
No,
said, and we seeing the other
like I
side of it.
said,
We seeing both sides.
That was a
the
cartoon
Earth,
picture to be
the
derogatory.
Earth,
This is
the
what can
Earth
only be
is
observed, this blackness.
The Earth is 3.5 million times larger than a human being. There's just absolutely no way human beings on the Earth, or even at certain heights, you got to be at a certain height to actually see.
How high do you have to be, Brother Leonard? How high do you have to be to see any curvature of the Earth?
41,000 feet.
41,000 feet. I'm showing you 120,000 feet, brother.
Okay.
I
That's
just
a
refuted
picture.
what you
That's a
said. No,
picture.
it's not a picture. It's a live video.
No, live video. Listen,
This
what
is video.
did John Yah say? John Yah said he's been in a plane and seen the curve of the Earth.
No, what he saw was distortion from the curve of the glass. I just explained to you optics. Please understand. Please learn the science of optics. If you could buy a fisheye lens and put it on your phone, and you can actually curve your porch.
So either way, even if we could go up to the top of the
Right
dome,
here.
we could go to the top of the dome, we still could have pictures, take pictures, shine. Matter of fact, the guy that jumped out of that free fell from the rocket,
The Red Bull thing, yeah.
Yeah, the Red Bull. That's a picture of a curvature Earth.
Right, and it showed New Mexico as the entire Earth. That's what I'm saying. You're not even understanding the optics. We know that New Mexico is not the size of the whole Earth. So when you see it, it's because the camera is tilted down. As I explained, the more you tilt down, the more distorted the image becomes, the more curved. And so you can make your whole neighborhood be a sphere if you have a fisheye lens and you tilt down enough. That's what you saw. It's optics.
Like I said, at the end of the day, if the Earth is flat, then there has to be an edge, or else you just continue to go off into. If you go in one direction, if you travel in one direction, you will not end up back where you started if the Earth is flat. Okay?
Look, go ahead, Leonard.
So that means that at some point you'd have to go off the edge. And where's the edge? Like I said, and I said earlier, the edge of the Earth would be
This is the edge. This is the edge. This is the edge. When you're flying on your airplane, using your gyroscope to go flat, and you fly off the edge of the Earth because you're flying flat. You should fly out in fucking space according to this theory.
The edge of the Earth would be the greatest money-making tourist sites on the planet. Who would want to go to the edge of the Earth? Who would want to go and look over the edge?
Hold on. To answer your question, Brother Leonard, book a flight to Antarctica right now. Book a flight to Antarctica.
Okay.
How can you if they know there? How can you land?
They do have ports.
Yeah, not for regular flyers.
Okay.
Right.
So
you got to go to Patagonia and sail to Antarctica.
Right. But what they say is that you can't fly across Antarctica because they say it's so cold that the fuel fucking freezes. You can't fly across that. So again, when we're talking about you talking about going to an edge, I'm telling you, you can't get there. So again, when you understand the model and don't be derogatory, then you can understand the logic behind it. So therefore, you can ask better questions about it. You can't go beyond this.
So what you're saying is that the center of the Earth is the Arctic, all right? And then everything, the longitude lines, the latitude lines, longitude lines go out like spokes in a wheel, latitude lines go out like concentric circles going all the way around. Okay, all right, you showed me that, all right? So my point to all of that is that irregardless, there will be a point which you cannot go any further traveling by boat, by plane, by walking, by we can build a vehicle if we needed to withstand the cold. All right, because they got.
I just explained to you that you
Yes,
can't,
you
according to
can.
NASA.
Yes,
No, they
yes,
said
you
you
can.
can't.
Listen. We can build a vehicle where we can have fuel that or
So
whatever we
NASA's
need to
lying
have.
now. So NASA's lying now.
What NASA's like?
So
You
now
said
they
NASA.
lying.
You
No,
said
no,
NASA.
I'm telling you,
You
they
said
saying
you said
you
that
can't do
NASA.
it.
You said that NASA said that. You said that NASA said that we went to the moon, and that was a lie.
It
So if that's
is.
a lie, then okay, then
Oh
NASA
no, I'm saying
lied.
I know that NASA lies. I'm just trying to see if you agree that NASA lies.
Yeah, no doubt NASA lies. A whole lot of people lie.
Oh, okay.
So check this out. On this video that you're showing us, is this an authentic, real image?
Yes, these are authentic. High altitude balloon footages are
Okay.
done by amateurs. You can look up, tons of videos on YouTube by
Correct.
amateurs. They got elementary school kids that's launching these things.
Right.
I can still hear you. Hold on, brother. Yeah, I can still hear you. I'm gonna grab my charger real quick, but you can continue. I can hear you.
So nobody has taken a picture of the edge after all these years with all this technology. That
I just
puzzles the hell
explained
out.
to you, you can't get to an edge. Why? Because try to explore Antarctica. No one can explore Antarctica. Like you said, their militaries protecting Antarctica. You can't go there. And then they claim on top
Wait a
of that
minute.
that it's so cold.
Antarctica is only one area. We're talking about a flat Earth. Go in another direction. You got this whole round disc, right? Pick another one. Is Antarctica around on the edges all the way around, or is it just north? Which is it? Where is the Antarctica? Is it all the way around the edges where there's ice all the way around? Is that Antarctica? If you can't go that way, go this way. Go to one of the poles and see whether or not there's an end, an edge. I'm just saying, listen.
I'm trying to help you to understand the model. And as you see, Antarctica is covering the model. I mean, that is the outer edge, and it's a giant ice wall.
Right. So it's
Giant ice
basically
wall.
all the way around then. So Antarctica,
Yes, it is.
Antarctica is all the way around this planet.
Yes.
It's a ring. Wow. Now here's a good question. What benefit is it for the government to tell us it's round when it's flat? Is there something in it for them to keep us confused and lied to? Is there something tangible?
It's always the same.
Huh?
Yeah. It's always the same thing. It's always control, right?
Okay.
And you know these things. Everything that just because it's popular doesn't make it true.
Correct.
Time as we know it right now is inaccurate, right? Time as we know it, the Egyptian calendar is more accurate than the calendar that we use today, right?
Okay.
Right? So why is time the way it is? Why did the whole world adopt the fake time? Right? Because the Roman Catholics, right? The Gregorian calendar, the Julian calendar, these things are manipulated. They take months, years out, days out, so that we can have pagan holidays on the same season every year. So you can have Easter in the same good weather every year, right? But just because it is massively adopted by all the countries around the world doesn't make it true. When you got the Mayans and the Egyptians calendar that's more accurate than the calendar that we have today. George Washington got 2 birthdays. Go look it up. Nobody can have 2 birthdays. It's a lie. So you understand, like, it's not so hard to believe it's about control. Like I said, there's lots of special interest groups that's in this space. All right. Special interest groups, nobody will fund this with their own capital. You have to be out of your mind to fund anything dealing with space because it is just, like I said, the limitations. You can't get there. They couldn't actually get to the moon in 1969, so they faked it, right? They put out this whole thing with the war against the Soviets and all this other crap. The people who run NASA, they actually were Nazis from Germany that was actually brought over to the U.S. to run the NASA program. So the source that we get all this information from, it's not even true in itself, but yet we run around with this like we have some high moral ground and everybody else are just idiots, right? And like I was just saying, like, just look at the facts. If you can't show me one picture of the Earth, and this is how I started to go down the rabbit hole. My best friend, he was telling me, he's like, I know how you are. I'm not going to debate you, man. Just understand that there's no real pictures of the Earth. And I said, that's ridiculous. We got plenty of real pictures of the Earth. Once you can understand that there are no real pictures of the Earth, then you start to understand the truth. If I can get Brother Joe to pull up that other link with the guy who made the picture of the Earth, his name is Robert Simmons, the picture of the blue marble that everybody know as Earth. Yes, that guy right there. You can read his testimony. He explains to you how he creates the picture of the Earth. He tells you that it's from data.
That does not explain that that's the model the government is using. This was around before he was born. So let's not do that. I mean, he had to come alive and did that. He had to did it back in the 60s and died and came back. So just because he made a model doesn't mean that model was used in the 60s.
No. Like I say, look up, just Google, all right? Google the picture of the Earth. You're going to see the Mr. Blue Marble, the picture that this dude created. Yeah. And like they said, and this is NASA.
Right.
Like, don't argue with me.
No.
This is NASA. They're telling you, this dude, he telling you how he made the damn picture of the Earth. And he said he made it based off of people's expectation of what the Earth should look like. Neil deGrasse Tyson said the Earth is an oblate spheroid, like a damn football. He said it's like pizza dough. It's a ball. And he said because the Earth is spinning so much that it starts to oblate around the edges. And so it's been widening and widening and widening like pizza and flattens at the top. You see no picture of who the leading astrophysicists of America telling you that it's an oblate spheroid. There's no image of that. All pictures of Earth as we know it are fake. So we can't run around with cartoon images saying that this is the objective truth. Right. That's what I'm saying.
Right. So basically, those pictures back in the 60s, before this white boy was even born, those pictures are wrong too.
Of course. Listen, they tell you right here. Look, read NASA's website. They tell you that the last alleged real picture of the Earth was 1972. It's 2022. Why are there no real pictures of the Earth?
Yeah, why ain't there pictures of the Earth? Why ain't there pictures of the flat part, let alone the round part? I'm still confused. It's still kind of up there, right?
Hold on. We don't get $25 billion a year. This should be done with if we get $25 billion a year. That's what NASA get. That's what all these other government agencies around the world who's competing for government contracts, like Elon Musk and these guys, they're competing for government contracts. It's special interest groups. You don't understand. All these guys, you know how much money these fucking guys make? Their careers are high-paying careers. The people in warehouses is doing real shit. They making $30,000 a year. You got motherfuckers in labs doing math, ain't solving for the damn water crisis in Jackson, Mississippi, ain't solving for real shit that real people got to do with, because again, it's fucking fugazi. It's just doing math in circles. Math don't make nothing real. I'm a fucking analyst. I can tell you, we can fudge the numbers in any kind of way you want. I can compress a big number and make it so small you wouldn't even believe it. Like, that's what Einstein was into. Math doesn't make nothing real. So you have to come into question, is your observation real? Is the math real? What is real? That's what I'm saying. Like, this dude showing you right here, he's telling you that he's making the picture of the globe from fucking math. He ain't never been to space. He ain't never seen the motherfucker. But yet he's on Photoshop making the fucking damn picture of the Earth. And this is what people believe. It's an image that's in our head. Ain't none of us seen it. Ain't none of us been there. We don't know. So
that's the same thing about the flat Earth, though. You saying the same thing about nobody's been there. Nobody knows. You just believe in it based on someone said.
I agree.
Huh?
I agree.
Actually, it's just both ways, right?
It's a theory, right? This is us trying to understand the truth. So you got two models that's competing with each other, and so again, you're going to have to choose your bias,
right?
Based off the evidence that's laid before you,
right? So where does the sun go at night?
Again, you're talking about
there's a trap door. There's a trap door.
No. That's derogatory. Right? That's derogatory. No, it's called perspective. And anytime something leaves your sight as far enough, then it disappears, right? And then it goes like you said, the Earth is massive. And then the geocentric model, it's the center of the universe. It is the center of the. That's what I'm saying. You're not understanding the model. So if you will humble yourself enough to at least try to understand the model before you critique the model, then that'll be like, met with better ground, so no one has to.
No, you just telling me I should just throw away my objective and just believe. No, I'm not doing that. The point is,
I'm not saying just believe. I'm saying with evidence.
Right, but I am weighing evidence. I'm asking you a question that you can't answer. Right, but I'm asking.
I can see, but you can't answer what the footage that I show you, real footage.
No, I can't, because it's footage, and anybody can doctrine a footage. That's why I'm not showing you any footages, because anybody can. Here's what I'm saying. I'm just asking you with common sense.
I showed you common sense. If somebody show you,
you show me your common sense, what you believe in, my friend.
I'm asking you. Fake. I'm showing you. I pulled a book out there.
It doesn't matter.
You can see this. It's not doctrinated. That's again. This is the physical evidence that I'm showing you.
You can bring me the Bible and I can show you where it's lies. Okay, so you're quoting the Bible. That don't affect me at all.
No, but you're misusing. You misunderstand. No, you're talking about the content of it.
Here's why I'm at.
The content of those written.
Correct.
I'm showing you evidence that anybody can do. They have elementary school kids launching high altitude balloon. Brother, you can launch a high altitude balloon in space yourself.
Yes. Okay. So the question is, where do the sun go when it's nighttime? Because there should be a high altitude balloon showing the sun still somewhere hanging right there at the flat part, just on the other edge. Why is the sun go away? Where does it go? On the dirt side of the earth? Where does it go? So if it goes on this side, why is it dark on this side? If the earth is flat, why can't we still see the sun way over there? I can see a little bit of it. Why can't I see that? I can see the stars. I can sure see some stars up there. Why can't I see the earth if it's still under the dome and we all flat? So I should be able to see the earth. We should be able to build a building like in New York and be able to take a telescope and say, yes, there's the sun way over there. It's still shining. It ain't went nowhere. Why am I seeing the sun go down into the waters in the West Coast and rise out of the water in the East Coast? Where did it go?
I just explained it to you. And again, if you take a look at the A.E. Gleason's map, which is
okay,
in
where did it go here? And show me. I'm seeing the map.
Okay.
Now put the sun where
you can look it up.
Put the sun anywhere. Put your finger and pick the sun anywhere.
The model shows you where the sun is at. It explains the seasons and everything. It explains time and everything. The sun on a flat Earth is a local sun and it's small, just like the moon. And it circumnavigates again around the world. And as it does that, as it goes far from your distance, you can't see it from on the other side.
Oh,
you won't be able to see it.
Well, wait a minute. If I can see it, then why is it that I can see stars if I can't see the sun? Why when I look at my telescope, I can see others? Are those illusions up there? Are those some type of planet stuff? How am I able to see stars but I can't see the sun when it's nighttime? It should be still there somewhere
breaking up
far away. Why can't I see it?
You're breaking up. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if that was sometimes.
Did I break up?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm asking.
I can hear you now. You're good now.
Yeah. So I'm asking again, if I can take a telescope and I can see stars in the sky, why can't I see the sun if it didn't go around? Even though if it's way over there, why can't I still see it? Why is it? Why is it hidden?
I just explained it to you. Because it's local.
Because you didn't explain it. If I can still see the stars way up there, and the sun is that way, but it's just so far away, is the stars closer to me than the sun, or is the sun so far away that it's dark over here like the stars?
The sun and the moon is closer to you than the stars are. When you go outside, let me ask you.
Right.
When you go outside,
that's
you
right.
Feel the sun on
your
skin.
Yeah, so where does it go at night?
Hold on. No. Listen, when you go outside, you can feel the sun on your skin.
Yeah.
In the summertime, it's hotter than in the wintertime, right? Like your skin is literally like, itching and stuff because the sun is closer to you in proximity, right? But according to the heliocentric model, the sun is over 93 million miles away. But when I go outside, this shit feel like it's on my motherfucking neck because it's closer, all right? So again, we're trying to understand the model itself. Because what's happening is that you have your belief, and we all been taught the exact same thing. I know everything you know. You just don't know what I know because I dug into this a little deeper. Well, I know the exact same stuff that you guys know, and we all grew up believing the same thing. But when we go based off of our observation, our real life observation, like I just explained to you, you can feel the sun literally on you. They don't feel like it's 93 million miles away. And if you look at the size of the sun as they explaining, this is a big giant ball of fire. No, look at the picture. You see the sun. Why does it look like a star? But in their models, and they're showing you, it looks like a giant ball of fire, right? So I'm just showing you, this whole thing. You ask about eclipses. Listen, crepuscular sun rays. On any rainy day, you can take a look at crepuscular sun rays if there's clouds. What are crepuscular sun rays? Crepuscular sun rays are angles of the sunlight. And Brother Joe can pull up a picture of crepuscular sun rays, and you can see the sun rays going at different angles, right? And so you can always know where the sun is located based off of the angles. You can triangulate the angles to a single point. That's how you know where the sun is at, right? But if the sun is this ginormous thing, like the sun is so monumentally bigger than the earth is like a little speck next to, say this is the sun, the earth is like a little dot. All right, that shouldn't even be any poles. The heat coming off of this thing, yes, those are crepuscular sun rays. Again, this is indication of a local sun.
That's that piece that blows my mind, that the sun is inside the dome. That's what blows my mind, because
I got you.
the sun is this big and the earth is that big. And so
Yeah.
if the sun is inside this big old dome, that's what you know, that's
I got you, because you've been on the same question for a minute, and I don't think I can give you a satisfactory answer. But I'm showing you crepuscular sun rays, and you can witness this. That's on your observation. What is crepuscular? Look at the picture.
That ain't telling me anything. You're still not telling me. Once you told me that the sun and the moon is
Hold on. I'm trying to get you to understand crepuscular sun rays themselves. The whole point of it is that you can triangulate each straight line of the sun rays to where the sun is located at. If the sun is ginormous and is big, it would not do that. The sun rays will hit the earth parallel. There'll be all lines, but they're all parallel lines, but they're not. They're all angular lines coming from a local source, a close source. This is how you know the distance. If you look at that picture that he got the mouse hovering over, that's how you could triangulate where the sun is located. But if it's so ginormous, so huge, the sun rays will hit the earth at the same angle. But that's not our real observation. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. If you see the angles there, that is showing you, and you can see the spot over the water as well. Curved surfaces, the way that it reflects light, it doesn't reflect light in the same way that a flat surface will. You can see the sunlight over the ocean will come all the way to you. If it was a round ball, you could take any round object and do this experiment, and you will see shining that light on there. It will not cast a long line of light. It will be a circular light there if it was a curved surface, but it does not curve. Water does not lie. Water does not curve. The law of water always seeks its own level. Bodies of water, right? So bodies of water, they're always level. Look at this glass of water I got right here. It's flat. Majority of the earth is made of water, right? Look, no matter what way no matter what way I tilt it, the water is always going to have a perfectly flat line. We use water for levels.
Yeah. So how far is the sun from the earth?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
93 million miles. So if it's 93 million miles, then the dome must be bigger than that.
No. Again, that's mixing.
Okay.
We don't believe that, because 93 million miles is not local. That's like so far away. That's not local, and that only works on a heliocentric model.
Correct. So I see what you're saying. So anything right there, you can throw out the door, because that's not true. Gotcha. So right. So the sun ain't as big as the model in real life. The sun's not that big.
The sun and the moon you see the sun and the moon every day. What size does the sun look to you? That's what size we believe that it is, the way you see it. And the same as the moon.
Okay.
Relatively around the same size. Yeah.
Gotcha. So you don't believe that because the sun is 93 million miles away, and the moon is quite closer than that we don't see that difference like that? So you believe they both kind of the same size, and they both kind of going across this disc like this?
It's not a disc, but it's a circle.
Right. Okay. Because the moon is not circling the earth. The moon is going around the disc like this, right?
Well, you're saying the same thing. It's the same thing.
And that's the piece that I cannot get an answer to, because if the dome is here and the sun and the moon is inside the dome, but yet you say they can send stuff to the dome, but they can't send stuff to look down on the earth. I ain't never seen it. I've never seen anything on your side of information that can show that. Yet we can easily talk about how this looks, but no one can explain it with science. In fact, none of y'all are scientists and whatsoever. Nobody on the flat earth side are scientists. But yet when we talk to other scientists that speak on this, and they all say the earth is round.
I tell you, that's not true.
Well, okay. So then all these other scientists, all these other scientists and all over the world are sometimes under some swore secrecy to keep this wool over the people's eyes for some type of benefit. What is it? I'm just confused. What could be the benefit to keeping people aware that the earth is round? Where does it hurt us?
I just explained this to you, but if I can give you what my beliefs are.
Yeah. What would happen? What would happen to the world if we all knew it was flat? What would that change? Will we be able to make more money? Are we going to be able to do more, fly different? Is our plane trips going to be cheaper because we know it's flat and it's just right over there? Why am I paying $300 or $400? It's just over there. What is the benefit?
For one, your tax restraint that the government takes on your paycheck, less of that will go to special interest groups like NASA and all these space groups, right? Again, they're paying high paid salaries to do buffoonery, right? When we have real needs that need to be done on Earth. Like if you understand that you can't leave this motherfucker, you will not be giving Elon Musk money to try to fake going to Mars. You wouldn't give money to Jeff Bezos and give money to Richard Branson with their own money. It's all government contracts, which is taxpayer dollars. I've explained this to you several times, but from my point of view as a Christian, again, I told you that the Bible is a flat earth book. For me, it makes perfect sense, right? The way that the Bible explains creation. Anybody tell you pastors read to you Genesis chapter 1, recreation. Again, a lot of them are afraid to go there because they don't have the balls to go and debate any of these scientists, right? Because the creation model is in direct conflict with the heliocentric model, with the Big Bang Theory, right? The Big Bang Theory.
Well, hell, Genesis says that the woman came from the man's rib. There's no proof of that. I mean, we can go there forever with that one. And there's never no proof that somebody snatched the rib out, buried it, and said, hey, here's your woman to play with. So we can go there with that fantasy all we want, but it really would not.
No. Hold on. What you said is good. No, what you said is good. The difference is that we know that it requires faith to believe in this. The difference is that you believe that the science is objectively true when you actually have to require the same faith that it takes for someone to believe in God to believe in the Big Bang Theory. It still takes faith for you to believe in the science. You understand? So the science becomes your religion. I understand that I have a religious belief. You thinking that what you believe is objectively true, and it's not. You still have to have faith in these people's experiments and these people's science, which is constantly changing. Sir Isaac Newton, all his fucking theories are proven wrong when Einstein came about with his fucking theory of relativity. It's all theories. We're trying to understand it. That's what I'm saying. So it's not so.
What are you showing here, Joe? Is that real or is that one of those fake ones that they put out there to fool us?
No, that's real.
This is a weather balloon that was released into space, and they started from the ground here, and it continues to go up, and as it goes up, let's get past this advertisement here.
You're breaking up.
But as it goes up, you start to see more of the Earth.
You see the flat line. You see the horizon.
Yep, keeps going up.
Straight all the way across.
Keeps going up, and what is this? Above the clouds, I presume.
The sun.
All right.
That's flat.
Now, what's interesting is, you say flat, but as I look at this, I'm seeing a lot of curvature.
You're seeing warping. Bending inward, concave, and a convexing. That's because the angle, the tilt of the camera as it moves in the space, it tilts. You'll see the manipulation of the image of Earth. That's called lens distortion. I explained to you guys the optics. You see how flat it is? So as it actually changes, tilts. Okay, when a hot air balloon explodes, you'll see it start wobbling and going crazy, and the Earth bends like a banana and all this craziness. The Earth is not morphing in shape. It's the lens, the optics. So that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, I'm showing this is real footage. Anybody can do it. It ain't fake. And you see, as far as the eyes can see, it's as flat as possible.
So this balloon is not past the radiation belt. It is still under the radiation belt, correct? It's all under. And so therefore, that sun that's up there, that's also under the radiation belt, correct?
I don't know, is what I'm saying. I'm telling you, that's what NASA says, that it's a Van Allen radiation.
Yeah, but I'm asking you based upon the radiation belt that you are claiming that we are under some type of dome. That's all I'm asking. So that sun is under that radiation belt while this image here is above the clouds. And as it goes all the way around, as I'm looking at it, I can say that's a distorted picture with the lens as you spoke about.
Thank you.
But I'm still seeing roundness. It may be up and down, but I'm not seeing
You just saw flatness for the whole flight up, and as it's up,
Gotcha.
you see it's disturbing because those hot air balloons when they get up there, you see them start. That's why it's doing all that spinning.
Yeah.
As it spins, it's rocking.
Right.
When it's
I
more
get you.
stable, you will see it. Okay, you see, and now it bends like a banana. You see what I'm saying? So
Yep.
again, without when you can put this stuff in Photoshop, and if Photoshop knows the lens, it will correct it. It'll remove the lens distortion, and you'll see those horizons will be flat lines. You could do this experiment with your camera and on your neighborhood. You can make your whole neighborhood be a ball. You know, if
Correct.
you tilt the angle down enough, if you tilt it up, it will bend like a banana. See what I'm
Correct.
saying? So, well, I'm just saying, like, this is what we observe. No matter how much math anybody throw your way or anything like that, you observe the truth. Are you supposed to deny what you actually see, or just and to adopt some cartoon pictures?
Repeat that again. You broke up a little bit. Pierre, you lost him.
Yeah, he froze, but he'll probably be back. Look at some of these comments. Why are all the other planets round? Did the Earth just get squished? It's a fact every continent can find the same constellation at the same time. Water absorbs light, though. If we learn the Earth is flat, we can push the convicts off the edge.
You can't get to an edge.
Adam and Eve is ionic bonding.
And,
you
can't get to an edge. There's lots of accounts of all this stuff, man. Like I said,
Well, I'm looking here. I didn't get to hear what you said. Something you were saying I thought was important.
Yeah, you cut out for a while.
My bad.
That's okay. You can't remember what you was talking about?
Which part?
Last minute, the last minute of conversation. You kind of froze up and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah, what you was explaining. You was
if it comes back to mind, I can't remember. Sorry about that.
It's all good. It's all good. Here's a question: do people live on the other side of the Earth? Is that bizarro world?
So there are lots of theories. There's like no one set theory. Again, it's all theory. We're trying to figure this out, right? So there's a count of Admiral Byrd, right? So Admiral Byrd is considered like one of the greatest explorations ever, right? He's the guy who went to the Arctic, North Pole, South Pole, all this stuff. And so on his account, when he actually went across Antarctica, he didn't go across the whole thing. He said that there was landmass larger than the Americas beyond Antarctica that he saw when he was flying across there. And he was set to do a second exploration, but he was grounded by the government. They wouldn't let him go do a second exploration because he was on TV. He did a whole interview, and he was talking about how it was vast resources down in Antarctica, uranium, oil, plutonium. He's like, it's like infinite amount of resources in Antarctica. So Antarctica is obviously a special place. I mean, it's protected by all the world's governments. They signed the Antarctic, Treaty. We don't know everything there is to know about it. It's shrouded in secrecy, a lot of it, but it's got to be a special place. And so again, I showed you, the flat Earth model. Beyond the Antarctic walls, there are some people that believe there are other lands, because you can just see infinite space. Infinite land as far as the eyes can go from the highest altitude of space. We don't know beyond the Arctic wall, but there's different theories out there. I can't give you I know the truth. Nobody knows all answers, actually. Not space, not NASA, not Neil deGrasse Tyson. We're all theorizing.
That piece. Yeah, we're all theorizing. That's correct.
And I think that's the big thing here is, for anyone out there watching, we didn't bring this conversation to try to, more or less prove any one person right or wrong. The conversation was just a conversation to have. That's it. It's understood that everyone is going to have certain things on their side of the belief system that will prove their thought process and what have you. It doesn't stop you from focusing on moving forward in life, creating the reality that you want, creating the abundance in life that you want. This was just a great conversation to have about the flat Earth theory. And I don't think that it's been proven on either side in the midst of this conversation that the Earth is flat or round. I mean, if everybody got up today and someone came out, the government or somebody said, "Hey guys, just want to let you know the Earth is flat." I I mean, what are you gonna do? You gonna get up and go to work and pay bills because your landlord or bank, they still want their money. So it's not necessarily gonna change anything. I don't think. I mean, maybe people are thinking that if that information is out there that the earth is flat, that all of a sudden people are gonna chaos is gonna start. Oh, we're not going to work because the earth is flat. You've been lying to us. And then they get kicked out of their crib. The bank takes their home, all that stuff. And I mean, the shit is still gonna be the same shit. So but it's fun to talk about.
Let me ask you this, to both of you: do y'all believe that NASA went to the moon in 1969?
Absolutely not. I don't believe they landed on the moon. That's for sure. I think those pictures are fake. I'm my opinion of what I thought I was looking at, because here's the thing: there's supposed to be no gravity, right? So how did you land? How did you get out there and walk if there's no gravity? It must be something that dealing with the electromagnetic field or some gravity inside the moon. But they say the moon's just a dead rock, which ain't fully true, because if it was true, it wouldn't have an attachment to the earth as it is circulating the earth, meaning it can't go too far and it can't come in, because why? There is something magnetizing, just like the earth and the sun. There's something pulling us, but yet keeping us from going too far to the sun and too far away from the sun. So we're kind of orbiting around the sun to create the different weather or the seasons that we have. Now, the question is again, the only piece is that if I go there in my mind and say, okay, yeah, the earth is flat, I'm still going to ask the question, where the hell did the sun go at night? Why can't I see it anymore? And to assume that this powerful sun, that maybe if the people find out the earth is flat, maybe we'll realize how close we are. We're really not that far apart in it, really. But if it is true, where does the sun go at night? And why is it so dark if it's flat? And this is the curving part, because even if there's a half curve and the sun is over here in this half point, I can see why maybe we ain't seeing it over there. But if it ain't no curve, now I don't know why with 93 million miles away with a telescope, why wouldn't I be able to get on top of the Empire State Building or Mount Everest and look and see there's that sun with a powerful telescope? I mean, that right there just blows my mind. And until then, I'm a believer that the earth is absolutely round, as I see it rising in the east and actually coming over and falling in the west. It ain't going this way and shooting off that way. It's actually going down as the earth is curving away from where I'm at, is just curving away from the sun and giving some light on the other side of this earth that possibly is just an empty hole. You see, I could really get this if the earth is flat and we got this dome around us, we can't leave. But what kills me, or what kind of kills the conversation, if the sun and the moon is inside the dome, okay, then they can't go on the other side. But just imagine if the sun and the moon is above the dome. Well, then the sun is going on the other side of the dirt side and coming back up. Then that would make sense. That's why it goes down. I don't see it no more until the east. It comes back up. Oh, now I get it. But to tell me this inside the dome and it circles this way just don't work.
So, brother, yeah, you say you got a telescope. Have you heard of a Nikon P900 or the Nikon P1000 camera?
I heard of a Nikon. I don't know about those numbers or initials behind it.
Okay, so look up the Nikon P1000 camera to put your telescope to shame. It's a camera. It's got the most powerful lens on it. Flat earthers use it all day long to disprove the ball earth, to disprove everybody who claiming that ships go over the curve of the earth, because all they do is put the P900 or the P1000 camera on. Your eyes can't see that far. The camera will zoom in and pull the boat back in. And if it's going over a curve, you can't see around corners or over curves. This has been proven time over time over time. You can actually use the same camera and point it at the moon and the stars, and you get the best picture of the stars and the moon that you could possibly actually get, better than a telescope, P900 or P1000 camera all day. But you can't actually you can't look across the earth and see all the way over, because there's so many things in the atmosphere that's, disturbing what you can actually see. You have, all kind of light reflecting off the waters and dust and mountains and all this other stuff. There's no way that you can actually see. So again, the questions are immature when you understand the model. And so that's why I say, like, just try to understand a little more so that you can ask like real good questions.
Gotcha. Here's a good question. Here's a good question that's kind of different from the model when we talk about eclipse. There's an eclipse to where the earth is in between the sun and the moon, to where we can watch the moon actually have light and it disappears. We just had one a few months ago. I think I took some pictures of it, and it disappears. Then it starts to come back out because it is directly in alignment with the earth and the sun. So it disappears. How is that possible if it's all under the dome? Somebody done went on the other side and broke some goddamn rules. I'm just saying, how does that make sense? And secondly, how is it that if it's the sun and the moon, how is it that it goes under to create the other eclipse? To where now, suddenly in the middle of the day, we go dark. I mean, some of those things just blows my mind if we're talking flat earth. Even the flat earth can't explain it. Even the flat earth can't explain an eclipse. How does that work?
This is a good question. The real question in my mind, Vicky Irvin, is can weather and meteorological patterns be manipulated by man? This would have a more profound impact on our daily living, and my answer is yes, of course.
We would be
absolutely. I mean, again, to answer that question, because I don't know, my internet is disturbing here, but yeah, I mean, you can look up. There's the whole documentary on I think it's a History Channel. It's called Weather Warfare. This is years ago. They actually aired it, and they actually showed how the weather has been manipulated by these things called
cloud seeding and
all
that type stuff.
They push the ionosphere. The ionosphere I was telling you about, that we triangulate signals off of, or they push these ions from ground towers to manipulate jet streams to create flooding.
Right. So when we're looking at an eclipse, is that something man-made? Because when that moon disappears, because it is in alignment between the earth, is in alignment, and the earth is in between the moon and the sun. And when that moon disappears, is that something man-made, or does that really happen? And if so, how is it possible if they're both inside the dome?
Yeah. So I think you're asking a question about the eclipse, right?
Yeah. How is it possible if the earth is in the middle and they're in alignment with the sun on one side and the moon on the other? When it's in alignment, directly in alignment, the moon disappears for a brief second, and then you see it come back out and show some light that's lit from the sun to this way. The point is, how we have an eclipse if we're all under a dome?
Yeah, like they have different types of eclipse, first of all, and they all are mysteries, I would say.
Yeah.
When you look at when you look at the diagrams and they're showing you these eclipses, and we all see the eclipses when they occur, right? They'll show you like the sun is like this big, and then the sun is triangulating its sun rays to the center point of this moon and casting a tiny shadow across very small portions of the earth. So just like when we had the last eclipse here, I'm in Charlotte. My homeboys down in Charleston, South Carolina, which is not even far from here, they were able to actually see the total darkness. But here, the moon, the eclipse never got to totality. There was never no total darkness. It looks just like the sun right now, and that's in that picture right there, where it looks like a bright, shiny star. In fact, it's so shiny that they tell you can't look at it directly or you go blind. So a lot of people started doing is taking their cell phones now. We got cell phones, turning around and take a picture of it backwards because it's so bright. We never got total darkness. That only occurs and you can pull up the path of the eclipse is there, real skinny lines. Only a small group of people actually get to see it. Everybody else see like the sun as you see it. So I mean, again, there's lots of mysteries around this stuff. We all try to figure it out.
It's not a mystery that the moon disappears because it's in alignment right behind the earth. How does that happen?
I just asked you, how is it that somebody down the street from me can see total darkness, but yeah, I get the bright sun star?
Because it's not in alignment. What I'm saying is
no, that's not how it works. right? So
No, it isn't how it works. There are certain parts of the earth don't see the same thing I see on this side of the earth. That's correct.
right, we're on the same side of the earth. I'm talking down the street.
Yeah, if it's flat, I guess so. And that's why I don't understand where the sun just.
No. That's what I'm saying. If this is the sun, this is a giant sun that's emitting this parallel rays towards the earth, and there's a little disturbance with the moon is right here, and then you got the earth that's right on this side. You can't really see it, but it's shining its light. First of all, the sun does not triangulate its sun rays into a narrow point in this way. It all goes parallel, straight all the way across. So the image, the shadow of the moon itself, should be much bigger than actually what we actually see. But that actually works perfectly on a flat earth with a smaller local sun and the local moon. Like that it makes better sense than this model here.
Right. So we have a local sun that's inside the dome, but we have a moon that kind of goes crazy, and it's kind of maybe it's a radical moon, because I'm still confused. How does it create an eclipse? The moon. Okay, we agree. The sun is smaller and it's
crazy. You can see the sun. You can see the sun. You can see the sun and the moon at the same time during the day. Anytime you can see the sun and the moon above the earth. Listen, you're sitting on earth, and above you can see two lights in the sky at the same time. One is the sun and one is the moon.
No, you can't see the sun. You can't see the moon every day. No, you can't.
I will send you pictures. Anybody can see the sun and the moon above the horizon at the same time in the same sky.
Yeah,
I didn't say every day. I didn't say every day. I'm just saying that you can see on any day you can see the sun and the moon in the same sky at the same time.
Correct. Right? I know you can, but not every day.
Yeah. No, it's not every day. That's not every day, but you can see them.
Yes,
going around.
Because the moon circles the sun. And so sometimes you don't see it. Well, where is it at when you don't see it? It's on the other side, baby. That's where it's at. If it was all on the same playing field, you could see it every day, but you're not seeing it every day. Because here's the thing. Remember, they're not this close. They're this far away, circling like this over the earth.
Mm-hmm. Right. And but they actually, you have to pull up the model itself. You can pull up, any models that will show you in the different seasons and everything, just the way that they actually go up and down, how the seasons is all perfectly explained. I showed you the azimuthal map right here, and it actually shows you down at the bottom. And because this is firmament around there, it actually bends the light around, so it actually casts the light out farther. That's why you can have light in the sky without being able to see the sun. So I mean, again, that's part of the model itself. What I showed you earlier, and you see him right there. Yeah. So again, you see with your own eyes, or you deny with your own eyes what you actually see. Either this is false, which it's not, we actually see it, or our understanding of this whole ball earth said the ball earth is true. Then that means the models that they've given us as far as the size of the earth have to be incorrect. I actually asked a meteorologist this, and he never responded to me. I think he was a little upset because I asked the same thing, like, hey, and I'm asking from a genuine place. I'm not trying to be condescending or nothing like that, because we're all trying to find truth, right? And so if you say that the earth's supposed to curve 8 inches per mile squared, okay, it's supposed to be curving. We should be able to observe this, but it cannot be observed. I got a gang of simplified laser to actually detect if there's any curvature. And I'll send you the website. They actually posted it for the whole science world to replicate the experiment itself. And everything was documented, and there's no curvature to be found. And you have to do it over bodies of water, because water does not lie. Water does not curve. Bodies of water do not curve. They're always a level. You can't do it over terrain, because terrain is too rocky craziness. So you have to find bodies of water to do these experiments to measure if there's any curvature, because water is always going to be flat. And they've done this, and we've seen where you're supposed to get so many miles of curvature that's not even visible. It goes straight across. We have infrared imagery. They got infrared imagery now showing the flatness of the earth, and so I'm just saying, like, observe, then we got to call into question what has been taught. Something is wrong either way, right? And so it's like, how do you figure out what's wrong? Like, is it the calculation of the ball earth is wrong? I mean, that's a plausible, conclusion, that the calculations of the ball earth is wrong if the earth is a ball, right? So again, but who's going to concede to that, right?
Man, I tell you what, in all honesty, we can go round and round and round about this. Or we can go flat about it.
We agree
Right.
that NASA faked the moon landings.
Did we agree on that?
I said, my bad, I broke up. I said, I think we all agree that NASA faked the moon landings.
Yeah, I agree. I can say that I don't believe that they were at that time. They were in a race to see who could get there first, just for reasons of pumping each other up. And so when I kind of saw it, even then, just kind of looked kind of funny as I learned more about there's no wind, there's no gravity. So how was the flag looking like it was moving? And how were they walking around, with these big boots on? If there was no gravity, you would think they would float. So I kind of, my mind with that ain't true. America, this country will do some devious things to mislead people. Hey, that's why we got Facebook, and that's why we got YouTube and all this so crazy stuff. In fact, if it wasn't for Facebook, or if it wasn't for social media, we wouldn't have so many flat earth people actually jumping on board. But because we can now air this stuff all over, like one scientist says, anybody can jump on, because most of the people who will jump onto that are people who believe in conspiracies and think Illuminati is stopping people, or blocking you from getting wealthy, or somehow you got to sign over to Illuminati to get a deal. These are the people that think that there's only 4 or 5 people running the whole damn planet, and so everything's a conspiracy, and everything's the government is somewhere secretly hiding, saying let's do this to the black people. And I get it; it's easy to do nowadays, and it was interesting because the illusion is on so deeply. There's a video that's circulating that shows a cheetah being dragged into the water, and then suddenly it shows a leopard pulling out an alligator, and somehow somebody mixed the 2 videos together and made a theme out of it about never give up, and it was actually just an illusion of how they put together. So we're in a world right now today that's strictly an illusionary world. Don't believe everything you see, and believe in half of what you see, but nothing that you hear, and specifically if you see it on a video, because there's so much. I do Photoshop myself when I create my labels. There's so much things you can do to Photoshop that make stuff look so real it will fool the naked eye. Just like what we got these filters, women look like one.
That was government technology in the 60s.
Technology is really a different ball game, and it's keeping the illusion over the people's eyes today, specifically the distractions that's stopping people from engaging in knowing who they are and what their purpose is on this planet. So here we are, we engage in it because it sounds interesting, and people who believe it will believe it, but still at the same point, whether you believe it or not, I get you, it doesn't matter. You're still a human being to me. It's not like you somewhere out of space. But again, what is your purpose in life? And where is understanding that the earth is flat is going to help you get that purpose. I can tell you that to me, the earth is round, and let me tell you how it makes me realize that it benefits me. You know why? Because what goes around comes around. So whatever I put out there in the universe, it comes back to me. If I put out good, it comes back to me. So that's the basics of understanding that to me, all my cells and even my atoms are round. They're not flat. My blood cells are round. My red blood cells are round. Everything to me, my eyeballs are round. My balls are round, right? So everything to me looks round. And so that's the way I grab the concept.
Well, I'll say this. This has been a riveting conversation about flat Earth. Yep. And we are going roughly going on 2 hours.
Woo! I know.
This with just this specific conversation, we're going on 3 hours with the show. But if the earth is flat, tall people should be able to see each other from other countries. That's Pops having fun with it. But again, no one's going to prove anyone on either side until they show a picture of the earth in its entirety as a round ball, and you get to see the whole thing. Then, okay. Until they show a picture of, how they get rid of people that they, want to get rid of in this world by throwing them off the edge of the earth. Until they show that, then you
got footage right here in front of you, Joe. You looking at it? Look.
No, I mean, but there's nobody.
I'm saying why people don't use your eyes.
I mean, I don't see them throwing anybody off the edge. That's what I want to see. I want to see somebody jump off the edge and never resurface.
And then you say, and then you show me. Hold on. You show cartoon pictures.
Yeah,
you got proof in front of you, but then you look at cartoon pictures. And then you say the cartoon pictures are real, or you look at a math equation and say that's real, or sticks and shadows when you got proof right there in front of you.
You see,
you can logically deduce what
I see curvature, so I mean,
see, one of the things that can't debunk them to them. In other words, you can't debunk them. You know why? Because you can't leave the dome to go on the other side to see anything. So that protects them because they can't send nothing to the dome on the other side of the dome to debunk them. So they settled with the fact that you can't find out anyway because you can't get to the other dome. And any other picture is a lie because any other picture that shows the earth is someone's Photoshop drawing. You see, that's
so John, can NASA go to the moon today?
Can NASA go to the moon?
Today, 2022.
You mean land on the moon or fly into the moon?
As if the moon is a destination. Can they go to a star? Can they go to a planet? Can they go to the moon?
I believe they can shoot a rocket to the moon. Exactly. If you said they can shoot a rocket to the dome, why can't they? If the moon and the sun is under the dome, why couldn't they send a rocket to the moon if they can go to the dome?
I just explained to you from NASA. They can't get through the damn
NASA. You just said NASA's a liar. I'm only one understanding. How do you fly a rocket? How do you fly a rocket to the dome to try to blow it up, but you can't fly a rocket to the moon?
Because you can't get through it. This is a protected system. You can't.
The moon was inside the dome.
Okay, so hold on. Somebody tell me this. Hold on. Somebody tell me this. Look. Hold on. Look at this video real quick, and tell me what these laser looking streaks are. That's okay. So that looks like light or something. That looks like something that is reflecting or something.
It's the sun.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I think another one's gonna pop up here in a second. Give it a there. You see that? You saw that? You see that? It's like whenever this goes this way.
They're called solar flares, buddy. They're called solar flares.
They go that goes that way. But when it did it again when the camera moved this way. But let's see if it does it when it comes back.
I'm not sure if that's solar flares. That's just the lens of the camera. I can't. That don't say nothing.
It's gonna do it again when it comes back. See, it has something to do with the sun. It has something to do with the sun. Because whenever it goes, the camera goes back this way.
Lens, you can't sit there and say that something shooting out the sun with that lens. You just can't do it.
No, not shooting out the sun, but has something to do with the sun and reflection and light and
going everywhere.
The glass lens of the camera or something. Because every time it goes this way, you go.
The lens is moving. Correct. Yeah. The lens is moving. Yeah.
That's something light from the sun.
And so is that a star? I see a star right there? Yeah, I see a star.
You only can see Venus. You only can see Venus during the daytime.
Is that in the dome or is that out of the dome? That star right there. Where's that star at? Is that in the dome or out of the dome?
So based off of the evidence that you saw from NASA's website, all the pictures of the Earth are fake.
No, is this NASA? Is this picture NASA?
No, I'm talking about the pictures.
No, you're talking about this video.
Yeah, is this video NASA? Who's this?
No, this isn't NASA. Just like the same one he gave us wasn't NASA. This is someone doing their own space balloon project.
Correct. So was this what is their solution of what the video they did? Did they determine that the Earth is flat or round based on this research?
This isn't even about a flat or round here. This is simply about the weather balloon flight.
They're not using the balloons to, right?
Yeah. So now here in the one that he sent to us, this one, the people, again, they didn't talk about where this video came from.
And is that video's not moving? It's a standstill video. Does it actually?
No, it moves. But this is the one that originally that Pierre gave us. And it's not to say that this is
so you
didn't make any comments on this.
But let me tell you, if that's moving, you can't tell that's not a balloon, right? So what is that? What is it filming from? What is carrying the camera?
It's the same thing. Everybody's using high altitude balloon footage. High altitude balloons. Yeah.
So that's a high altitude balloon also.
Yeah, that's the
So it
only
just
thing they can
depends. I
get
guess
to.
it depends. I mean, one thing I will say, it depends on how they have the camera strapped. You know, over here it looked like the camera's doing a little more dangling.
They all dangle like that. That's why I say you'll
Yeah,
see
they all gonna
nothing.
dangle because
but this one seems a lot more stable.
That's the conspiracy piece. Yeah.
Well, no, it's not. It's just that's the part that they chose to focus on. But if you watch the whole video, you'll see that when the balloon pops and stuff, it'll wobble and curve and all that stuff. They're just showing you from that horizon that you see that it's flat, you know. So
yeah, but
that's what I want to see is the balloon pop and then come back down to earth.
What I'm saying, the image of the balloon is not going and moving around like the other image. It's just basically stationary. So how do you know that because of that stationary, you don't know if it's Photoshop to stay right there and not really turn away from the sunlight? Because I want to see all the other video.
It turns. It's not Photoshop. It turns. They're just showing you from the angle to get you a still. Like if you pause the video, that's a still of it, or to slow it down so that you can see. Because you're trying to focus on the horizon. You're looking at that horizon. That's the focus. What they're trying to show you is that horizon flat? Is it curved? That's what they're trying to show you.
Yeah.
It's not manipulated.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, again, why are there no real pictures of the Earth? Why?
Why ain't there real pictures of the flat Earth? Why?
Again, it doesn't matter. Why is there no picture of the Earth? Is what I asked. Listen,
there are pictures. You're gonna believe them. There are pictures. You're just not gonna believe them.
No. If there's a real picture of the Earth, then we will see the shape of it.
How can we determine real nowadays with the Photoshop? How can we determine real? Send it to a lab?
No, NASA told you from the website that they create the pictures of the Earth. There are no pictures of the Earth. You can actually deconstruct the pictures that they have over there. You can deconstruct them in Photoshop and see that it's all made up. And again, Neil deGrasse Tyson, leading astrophysicist, says that, hey, it's oblate spheroid, like a football, because it spins, and as it's spinning, it widens at the
correct. Exactly, and that describes the roundness of it, not flat.
At the top. None of the pictures balls. That's a ball Earth. So even he said it flattens like a pizza. Neil deGrasse Tyson said that it flattens like a pizza as it continues to spin. Now that's what he said.
Joe, did I send you a video of Tyson talking about the flat Earth? I don't know if it's going to be the whole piece.
Yeah,
there's a piece in there.
All the stuff is old. Yeah, we've seen all this stuff years ago. So that's why I say most people getting the stuff they're gonna get the watered down stuff to turn people away. Because it's all manipulated through the government and the social media platforms. And you can go and look at the videos of the congressional hearings where they were pressuring Google, YouTube, Facebook. They were pressuring them to do something about the flat Earth. And this is their solution: is to demote all the people who's putting out truth, information, real information, to demote those videos, to promote those people who putting out debunked videos. And so to ridicule the flat Earth, they put out Netflix documentaries to try to make a buffoonery out of the flat Earth. That's why I say if you would have actually came into this 4 years ago, you would have actually got a lot of truth. Now you're seeing so much stuff that's distorting the minds of people.
I was in this 4 years ago, and I was in this 5-6 years ago, and I didn't see none of that. I'm seeing the same thing I see now, the same conversation.
Have you seen 200 Proofs by Eric Dubé?
And here's something.
Have you seen 200 Proofs by Eric Dubé?
No, but I've seen the flat Earth debunked on Netflix on a documentary, and they proved it. I know that, and I just
look up 200 Proofs by Eric Dubé.
Right. So again, we're back to that.
No, but Neil deGrasse Tyson refused to debate Eric Dubé on Joe Rogan's podcast. No, he actually agreed to debate Eric Dubé, and then when it came to the day before they supposed to debate, he backed out. Hold on, why Neil deGrasse?
That doesn't mean nothing, bro.
No, it does, because of what you're seeing on Netflix. What I'm saying is, it's all a ploy. It's not the real flat Earth people that's actually doing it. Hold on, you can look up video footage. I'll send you video footage of my man, alleged Dave Murphy, destroying astrophysics in debate. Listen, flat Earth people, that's what I'm telling you. You haven't seen none of this stuff because you can't find it. When you go to YouTube and type it in, you're going to get debunked. They don't do that to people that want to find out how to worship Satan, or people that want to get into any kind of just crazy shit on the web. They're not fucking manipulating the search feeds, the algorithms. But when it comes to flat Earth, what is the government so threatened by with flat Earth that they got to go in and do all of this? You got to ask yourself that they are really afraid of this flat Earth thing. What are they afraid of? They're not afraid of people worshiping the devil. You're
I'm
not afraid of people being atheists or being Christian or being Muslim. You can look up all that stuff without the algorithms manipulating what you see.
Yeah, that's the piece there. Why keep it from us? What is the benefit for the government to
Feed.
keep it
That's
from
why
us?
people be using sites like DuckDuck. They're pressed by Congress, the government.
Correct. So I was wondering if is there a check waiting on everybody? If everybody was revealed that the Earth is flat, is there something that's been lying to us? Hey, they owe us a check or something. We all get houses or something.
I'm asking you the question, brother. Yeah, why is Congress pressuring the companies to censor all flat Earth
You know,
material?
I know that there is a detecting thing that deals with fake news, that they block stuff, people ain't telling the full truth and misleading people. Hey, I'm all for taking
This is
stuff down that's not telling
before
the
that.
truth, right?
This is
I'm
before that.
I'm
I'll send you.
I'm against censorship.
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
Right, I'm against censorship of any form. But however, needless to say that again, we're back to whatever you believe, you're going to find that's going to support you to actually solidify your belief. That's a fact. I don't care what it is. I could Google some stuff and it's gonna
We're not
benefit my.
talking about confirmation bias, though.
Right, and so the same thing. You can find anything you believe. You know, algorithms is no more than like you having a thought, and you bringing that thought, and you bringing everything of that thought in your presence. If you believe something, if you believe in the Bible, you're going to be validated with all kind of biblical quotes. It's just that simple. If I don't believe in the Bible, I'm going to be validated with a whole bunch of lies about the Bible. That's going to settle my belief. It's just that simple. The question is whether you believe it's flat or round, which still has not been explained to me at these questions that I was asking. But I was asked now, well, what will be the real benefit if the government is telling us a lie? Why? Why keep us held into this bondage when the earth is flat and we're actually closer than we really are, and the sun ain't that damn big and it's right over there all the time? I don't get what would that do telling us that piece.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yep.
Yeah, and again, everybody's entitled to believe in what they believe in. I'm libertarian when it comes to all of that, right? So people gonna believe in what they believe in, according to my beliefs and what I believe in. The Bible says it perfectly clear in Genesis 1. It explains creation. I believe in that account because it matches the observation that we can see in real life. Our ancestors saw these things with or without technology, all these phenomena in the skies. People always been knowing these things, and so none of that matters. But for me, what matters is that this in Genesis in chapter 1, it says that God made man in his image and his likeness and his image, that we are basically sons of God. We're the most powerful beings. There are no aliens that's more powerful than you. He gave us dominion over all of this. All things that's created, all things of creation serves life on earth, not on Mars, not on Venus, not in the Andromeda galaxy, none of those things. The lights that we see in the sky, as the Bible says, they are for navigating the world. Therefore, telling the seasons and telling the times, and we can
Right.
observe this to this day as to be as being observationally true. And that, hold on, I'm not finished. And that because Earth is so special. Listen, you talk about earlier about your purpose in life. That ball Earth, they don't explain your purpose in life. You're so insignificant on a ball Earth, flying through millions of miles away through billions of galaxies. You're so insignificant. But on the geocentric model, the center of the universe, God put all these things here, and all things surrounding us that we see in the sky serves man and serves life here on earth. And because that's the case, and God is right above you, he's not far away, he's close, he's above you, above the firmament is where he sits, above the center circle of the earth is the way it says it in the Bible, right? And so again, that is my belief, and that makes perfect sense to me because we can observe that to be true. There's no life that exists any other place. The lights that you see in the skies, they're not destinations. You can't go there. They are to serve man. You cannot go there. Once you understand that, that destroys the whole space exploration budgets, NASA budgets, special interest budgets, all this money stuff. You keep asking the same question. I've answered it several times. It's
No,
for
you didn't.
control. No, I did. I answered it again, and it's for control. It's always for the same reason. Why did the government do? Why are you asking me about why your abuser reason. You don't need a distance to control your thoughts, to control everything. That's what it's about. If they can get you to believe in that, to believe in their Big Bang theories, which again, none of that stuff is true. But again, you have to have faith and to believe into some random shit exploding and all things set in motion, forever expanding through the forever expanding universe. Look, they said NASA and the physics and all these people say that the universe is flat. Did you know that? Did you know they say that the universe is flat?
Mm-hmm.
So
Here's a good.
hold on. Don't skip over that. The universe is flat. Does that upset you?
No, actually it don't.
but the geocentric model is that the Earth is the center of the universe. It is the universe. It's flat. That concludes the whole geocentric model because it is the center of the universe.
Yeah. If you believe that, so check this out. Well, the Bible in Genesis says that in Genesis the world was flooded. Is that true or false?
That is flat.
I know. I said in Genesis it explains that the world was flooded with Noah. Is that true or false?
Can you say that again? Yes.
Huh? True. The whole world flooded.
None of us is there to actually observe these accounts.
Right. That's the point.
Believe that it's true.
That's the piece that you keep bringing the biblical part up for, like it validates.
We have evidence to validate the claims, though.
Have the earth been flooded according to the Bible? Yes or no?
Can you find seashells on top of mountains?
Correct. You cannot. You cannot. In fact, there's never been any proof that the world was flooded. If it was asked that question, where did the water go? Because the same water that's been on this planet since it was created is still here. It hasn't evaporated and went nowhere. So where did all the water go if it rained so much that it became a flood? So since we're pointing the Bible, that was the only reason why I did that, because you can use the Bible as something validate about some scientific fact that's
that's my belief. I didn't say that it's subjectively true, but I'm telling you that that's my belief.
Correct.
We all got beliefs, brother. Understand this. If you knew your favorite celebrity's beliefs, you probably wouldn't even like that celebrity no more.
Not necessarily, because I know how to take belief away from the person.
Well, I'm talking about that's you.
I like people who are Christians. I'm not saying they believe.
I'm talking about the majority of people who are not free thinkers, who don't understand how to think. They base their thought process based off of people who they worship and idolize, and they say, "Hey, if Will Smith believes in polygamy, now I believe in polygamy. But if that's against your beliefs, you're like, oh no, I can't rock with Will Smith."
Correct.
That invalidates his whole career. I don't like none of his movies. I ain't watching none of his movies. Never, no more. Boom, boom, boom. Like, everybody has a right to believe in what we believe, even if it's science. It is a religion. Scientists always talking about that it's not a religion. It is a religion because it requires faith for you to believe in the science that's constantly changing over and over and over again. The next damn theorist to come over, he's going to debunk Einstein. Like Sir Isaac Newton about gravity, he was debunked by fucking Einstein. So everything they teach in school about Newton is fucking fake.
So if the same government that you say lies all of a sudden take in this flat earth thing, now you would be in favor of the government?
Well, again, I would never be in favor. I'm a free market. Understand? I'm a free marketer. Okay, I'm a libertarian. I'm an Austrian when it comes to economics. Again, we're all about freedom and about the individual.
Right.
The presence of government is the negation of freedom. Point blank, period. So I'm all about freedom. I'm all about not just freedom of your physicality, but your mental. For you to be allowed to think freely. And then we live in a society that people can't think freely. If you go out there and say you're a flat earth, you will fucking lose your whole career. I'm bold enough to don't give a fuck about what people think about my belief. That's what I believe. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna stick with my convictions. That's what you entitled to believe. I'm not trying to convert you. I'm to that age now that I don't try to convert people. I put the information out there, and if you're interested in it, then hey, go look more into it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Your belief is your belief. I didn't make you believe that. You know, the same way my homeboy hit me, he was like, "Man, listen, all the pictures of the earth is fake." And I was like, "You lying, you tripping." Now let me go find it. I started looking at all the pictures, and that's how I discovered that, hey, all the pictures of the earth is fake. And that made me go down the rabbit hole to seek more information. So seek information. Stop going off the accounts of other people. You know, most people ain't gonna do that. You gotta conduct your own research.
Exactly. I agree with you there.
Well, again, riveting conversation, lots of information, and folks, if you go down, I don't know where everybody's posting everything from, but in Facebook, whether it's on my page or whether it's on the Tipping Point Morning Show page, there's a lot of things that are being posted, links. So if you want to dig deeper and read more of this stuff, and maybe even Pierre will go and post some more of the links that he put in our private chat. He'll post them in the comments section.
Just look up Eric Dubé. Look up Eric Dubé, 200 Proofs Flat Earth. That's a good place for you to start. There's a lot of fugazi stuff out there, but there's some guys that's out there. Truth. You look up Alleged Dave, who actually debates astrophysicists, debates scientists, debate all kind of people. Him and this group of engineers and scientists. There's guys like Zach, the Dr. Zach, who's a scientist as well. Like, I mean, there's people out here who's been doing this stuff. You have accounts of military professionals. You have accounts of engineers. It's just lots of information out there. It's hard for you to find it now if you just do on Google search. But if you use a site like DuckDuckGo, you're more than likely to get some better, feed, search in your feed.
Yeah, I do realize that, DuckDuckGo is another place similar, another search engine like Google, just without all the Google-ness in it. It doesn't
manipulation.
It doesn't manipulate and move the algorithms around and push certain things to the front or back. It's just, you type in something and you get the link. That's something that a lot of people are going to, especially when they want to find information that is more unbiased. So just type in DuckDuckGo and you'll find that search engine to be able to utilize. But again, someone else suggested using Brave browser. But again, like Vicky has been saying this whole time, if you look hard enough, you can find information to support any theory you want. So again, it's a great conversation. It's fun to have and fun to talk about. As you can see, we've had a lot of fun. But hey,
I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
always.
We're no further now than we were before. I'm just happy to be wearing my Black Panther shirt as opposed to my Woman King shirt. But that's even a whole other conversation.
When are y'all getting to the capitalism, socialism? You doing that this episode or another episode?
Man, we're gonna have to extend that to another episode.
Yeah, we gotta bring that back to another episode.
Exactly. So we're gonna have to bring that back because there's questions out there that I have. I want to talk about the Catholic Church and how they moved all that money. I want to talk about the Fed's new pay system. Which, kind of is going to bypass Cash App and everything else, putting a bigger eye on people instead of moving big government out the way, which is conservative versus liberal thought processes there. So, I want to talk about that stuff. So let's set it up maybe next show. If you good for it next Saturday, I don't know if you're going to be out of town, traveling to Flat Earth or not, Pierre. But if you're available, then next Saturday we could definitely continue the capitalism versus socialism conversation.
Are you going to find a socialist that we can debate?
You know what?
Hey,
I'm gonna look for that.
We're both capitalists.
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna look for that. We'll
I know a couple of socialists. I don't know if they're brave enough to debate though.
I see them on your page, and y'all go back and forth. But yeah, if you can convince them, if they want to come on and talk about their socialistic views, then let's do it. Somebody reach out to Soros, see if we can get him on.
Who?
Soros, George Soros. But any Black Lives Matter people, yeah. So with that being said, this has been another episode of the Tipping Point Morning Show. Any last words before we go? Just quick last words. Anybody? All good?
Go ahead, Pierre.
Oh no, I don't have any final words. I just enjoy you guys. Thank you for having me on, and I look forward to the next one, man.
Great. So, I definitely want to say this is a great conversation. We definitely put some information out there for the listener to determine yourself. Do your own research. Keep an open mind. Stay objective. And when you are objective, instead of closed-minded, when you have a belief. When you begin to have a belief, you're closed-minded to everything else, and you stick with that belief while knowledge continues to grow. This is why it's important for you to be an objective mind. Objective mind makes you creative. Closed mind makes you not creative. So you don't create nothing new with a closed mind. You create more with an objective mind because you are always challenging what you think you know based upon your belief. So that's how you challenge yourself. And that's the only way you can truly go, because if you begin stuck in a belief, that belief becomes a cycle. And it continues to bring you what you think. And whatever you are doing today that was yesterday, guess what you're going to be doing tomorrow? Same thing. So somehow we got to break the chain of the subconscious mind to where we are we need to be allowing ourselves to think objectively and ask ourselves questions, meaning your own self, and just say, why am I thinking this? And how is this thinking benefit me? Once you start doing that to your own self, watch things start coming to you that's more information that takes you to what? Another level.
Absolutely. And with that being said, folks, again, it is another episode of the Tipping Point Morning Show. We're going to see y'all next week, same place, same time, and we're going to bring the same energy. All right? So, good stuff. Peace, fellas.
Peace, Pierre.
Peace.
You are listening to The Tipping Point Show with your host, Mr. Just Ask Joe, John Yeah. Right here on WLOU. Stream it live on Facebook and WLOUonline.com. And now, The Tipping Point Show.